It's time to elevate your finances. Introducing Ascend Checking, the new free checking account from P1FCU that pays you dividends. Earn 1.45% APY on balances up to $15,000. Plus, get online and mobile banking and mobile deposit with no minimum balance requirements. Level up your finances with Ascend Checking. To open your account, visit p1fcu.org/ascend. P1FCU, a Pacific Northwest original since 1938.
Some days, I choose the most difficult trail. I test my limits.
Taking the hard path isn't always easy, but I know it's the right way.
When I get done with my ride and I look back at what I've just accomplished, I feel amazing.
It takes courage and determination to do hard things.
But you can do them.
Quitting tobacco and vaping is possible.
You decide when. We'll show you how. Learn more at projectfilter.org or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
You can't make summer stand still, so make the most of every last second with a new Toyota at Toyota's National Sales Event.
During Toyota's National Sales Event, discover our wide variety of fuel-efficient electrified vehicles. Toyota, let's go places.
We're Valley-wide Country Store. For 100 years, we've been your #1 choice for food, fuel, farm supplies, and just about everything else you could need to get you through your day. We know you work until the job is done, and so do we. For gas on the go, or a little extra to help you get down the road, you can count on us. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you.
Vaping sucks you in quick, and the more you vape, the harder it is to quit, not to mention all the chemicals and health problems. That's why thousands of teens are joining My Life, My Quit. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
It's time to elevate your finances. Introducing Ascend Checking, the new free checking account from P1FCU that pays you dividends. Earn 1.45% APY on balances up to $15,000. Plus, get online and mobile banking and mobile deposit with no minimum balance requirements. Level up your finances with Ascend Checking. To open your account, visit p1fcu.org/ascend. P1FCU, a Pacific Northwest original since 1938.
You can't make summer stand still, so make the most of every last second with a new Toyota at Toyota's National Sales Event.
During Toyota's National Sales Event, discover our wide variety of fuel-efficient electrified vehicles. Toyota, let's go places.
It can be a lot, trying to figure out how to make it. How to dream big and to wonder, what if? Because no matter where you are in life, if you don't know what's possible in Idaho, it's hard to keep asking, what if? Which is exactly why Next Steps Idaho was created, with everything from smart tools that help you figure out careers you might be suited for, to training and education options for you.
Some days, I choose the most difficult trail. I test my limits.
Taking the hard path isn't always easy, but I know it's the right way.
When I get done with my ride and I look back at what I've just accomplished, I feel amazing.
It takes courage and determination to do hard things.
But you can do them.
Quitting tobacco and vaping is possible.
You decide when. We'll show you how. Learn more at projectfilter.org or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
It's time to elevate your finances. Introducing Ascend Checking, the new free checking account from P1FCU that pays you dividends. Earn 1.45% APY on balances up to $15,000. Plus, get online and mobile banking and mobile deposit with no minimum balance requirements. Level up your finances with Ascend Checking. To open your account, visit P1FCU.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another IdahoSports.com broadcast brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. We're bringing you tonight's action from Lewiston, Idaho, as tonight we have the Lewiston Bengals hosting the Capital Eagles. I'm joined in the booth tonight by, as always, the coach, Jason Hansen, and I'm Garrison Hardy, here to bring you tonight's action. Jason, good to be back with you.
It's awesome to be back. Right, it's a little bit like the end of last year and the beginning of this year kind of coming back together we saw this matchup last year. Maybe this time it's going to be a little bit different ending.
That's right. For those of you who watch a lot of our District 2 broadcasts, you'll remember last season, Jason and I were in the booth here down in Lewiston for the playoff game where the Lewiston Bengals hosted the Capital Eagles on this very field, and unfortunately it did not go Lewiston's way as Capital would go on to win that game by a score of 44-13, and it was just a pretty dominant effort from those Eagles, Jason.
It was. You think the big bus trip's going to take something out of them, but it seemed to almost just get them rested, and off they went, and they did a nice job in the playoffs, and Lewiston went home.
But that was last season, Jason,
That's
and
right.
We are here in 2022 for a fresh season, and let's jump in to talk about how these two teams are doing thus far. First, we'll talk about the visiting Capital Eagles. Thus far, it has been a bit of a rocky start as they lost their opening game versus Bora 21-0, and then fell at the hands of Bishop Kelly 41-6. So, Jason, 6 points on the season thus far in 2 games. That's a bit of a rough start, to say the least.
It is a little bit of a rough start for the new coach, but Coach Bonner, I think it's one of those where you get him on the bus, you get him up here, you're out of town, right? He mentioned before that most of his games are within, X number of miles from the school. So, as crazy as it sounds, maybe the bus ride helps them by getting up here, getting out of town, kind of get them bonded up, stay together, eat meals together, and kind of a camp experience, and then maybe he might be able to get them resettled.
That's right. And on the other side, the Lewiston Bengals, they're also looking for their first win, Jason, as they currently are 0-1 on the season. They lost away against Layton out of Utah. But you and I talked about this on the car ride down here. Layton, they've already played 3 games on the season. So, for one team kicking off the rust and then the other is already warmed up, ready to go.
Yeah, and that's tough. Even though it was a home Idaho game with the Rocky Mountain Rumble, it was like a 12-hour bus ride to get all the way down there. So, I think Coach Pancary's thinking, all right, home cooking, new year, new you. Let's rematch with Capital and see if we can't be a little better.
And on top of that, maybe some revenge in the mind of these Lewiston Bengals. But both teams hungry for their first victory. Now, Jason, so as we're talking about both these teams here, let's look at some of the players to keep an eye on for the fans at home, starting with Capital. You and I have a couple guys circled. Why don't you jump in?
I think it's going to be Jaron Peterson at quarterback and Brody Call at the receiver spot, as well as Isaiah Teleria, who's also going to be getting some looks. And so it's going to be fun to see what coach is doing with them. A new staff, and going to have some new wrinkles that probably doesn't help Lewiston as far as what they did last year. So it's not going to be a complete matchup.
And seeing as we're getting ready for the kickoff here, I'll ask you about Lewiston when we have a moment. But to start this game, Capital will receive the opening kick. Back deep to receive for Capital. It looks like we've got number 16 back deep to receive. Hey, look at that. We don't have a number 16 here on these rosters. But we do have a number 18, Brady Call, a junior wide receiver and defensive back. Do you think he's going to call his number and take it to the end zone here?
Oh, yeah, I bet he would like to. Nothing sets a nice standard for a new season and trying to get things resettled than to get a big return on this one. So I'm sure Lewiston's thinking the opposite. Let's get him corralled and get him down.
And set to kick things off here for the Bengals for the first time in front of their home fans this season. Number 49, that's Kyson Barden. So, ladies and gentlemen, live from Lewiston, Idaho, here in the LC Valley, here's the opening kick. Bengals, Eagles, underway. Friday Night Lights. And it's going to be taken into the end zone for a touchback. That is the rule here. If it's taken back into the end zone for the player's safety, the officials will blow it dead.
And that's a nice job by Lewiston, just making sure that Call doesn't make a big move right off the bat and gets them corralled, and now they got to start from the stop.
So they will, the Eagles, that is, will start things off at their own 20-yard line, 1st and 10. And Lewiston's defense will come out for the first time.
I would keep an eye on number 0, Robert Storm, right there in the middle. He's a big boy. He was wearing the turnover chain from last week or whatever they're doing defensively. So kind of already getting us settled in as to somebody to watch.
Now the Eagles are going to come out in an I formation look here with 2 wide receivers to the near side of the field, and I believe they have a tight end on the far side. They come in an offset I. Lewiston has 3 down linemen to match. And here's a pitch to the outside, gets to the 20, and he's brought down there. Good containment from Lewiston's number 8, Jordan Bramlett.
Yeah, Bramlett comes up there. He kind of funnels right to him, and he puts a stop to it.
So that's going to be a pickup of 1 there on the sweep, and that was the carry by Dawson Huerta, the senior running back and linebacker. And they'll call it a gain of 2, actually, so moves it to the 22 near hash. Now, last year, Jason, Lewiston's defensive and offensive line were really the strength of that team, and that's how they were able to put up so many points and also do a solid job defensively. We'll see what they can do here. Another I formation look, same exact formation. And this time it's a fullback call up the middle, and he's not able to go anywhere in that defensive front, just like I called it. You heard it.
That's right. And who was in the middle of it? Number 0, Robert Storm, already trying to make sure he keeps that chain.
So no gain on the play. It's going to be 3rd and long. This is exactly what the Lewiston defense wanted right off the bat. We got a couple of subs coming in off the sideline here for the Eagles.
Well, and the pace of the game, it's hot, it's smoky. Huddling up and kind of taking your time here might be a little better. We got a haze in the air and 100 degrees.
So here come the wide receivers for the Eagles now. 4 in this set, 1 to the near side, 3 to the far side of your screen. Quarterback number 2, Jordan Peterson in the gun. Takes the snap, drops back, looks far side. It's a nice spiral, but it's well short. Maybe some miscommunication there with his intended target, number 1, Charles Bonner, the senior wide receiver.
I wouldn't say they're soft footsteps, but I saw Robert Storm right there again from his D-line spot get past the line, and he was coming, and so I think Peterson was thinking, I better just get rid of this one.
And he did. Incomplete pass. 3 and out for the Eagles on their opening drive. It's going to bring up 4th and 8, ball in the 22 with 10 minutes, 23 seconds to go in the opening quarter. And here's the punt, and there's a flag thrown. This is an end-over-end kick. It's going to be taken by number 21, Gunnar Pruitt. Dodges a tackler. He gets to the near sideline, lowers the shoulder, and he's pushed out right at about near field, but we'll have to go back and see what that flag was all about. A flag was thrown near the 20-yard line.
Yeah, if it's just an encroachment or false start by the offense or the punting team, rather, it isn't going to change much. You probably want to take the yardage. But if you're Capital and it's on the defense, you might want to push them back. But I guess the answer is already revealed. Let's take it right here at the 50-yard line. Offense got a nice return, and we get to see that Lewiston go-go offense right off the bat.
That go-go offense, it's going to be a very different style of play here on the Capital side. We saw a much more methodical way to run the offense. Here with Lewiston, like you said, it's going to be go-go. They're already ready to start the play here once the official gives the word. Oh, they're looking for a new ball.
Not our fault. We packed the camera. We packed the microphones. We didn't bring the ball.
That's got to be on IdahoSports.com. Ball's on the 50. 1st and 10 for the Bengals. Their first drive here in Lewiston. And they're going to hand it off to Pruitt, who just had the punt return there. He's at the 45. Jukes forward to the 40. And he jukes again. He's at the 35. Brought down at the 33-yard line. First down, Bengals right away.
Pruitt's a guy you want to block for simply because of the fact that he's got that start-stop, and he's somebody who's just going to try and pick up a lot of yards out of nothing.
So you see that interesting formation for the Bengals now. They're in the gun, and they're going to hand it off the middle this time to number 6. That is Ethan Shaw, the senior running back, and he's able to pick up a couple.
Well, and there's that Capital defense kind of shoring up here a little bit, kind of settling in themselves.
2nd and 8, ball on the 31-yard line. 2 backs in the backfield, almost 3 in the backfield. It's a full house. They fake the handoff this time, and he probably should have given it away. That was the quarterback, Drew Hottinger, calling his own number. He's brought down in the backfield. Maybe the original line of scrimmage.
Well, and you talked about the go-go. They're already back on the ball, just trying to get the defense off balance and tired out.
3rd and 9, ball on the 32. Hottinger looks. And it's caught this time by number 4, Braden Rice, and he's still on his feet trying to get forward. But it's not going to be enough for the first down, but as we know with Lewiston, they're going to be looking to go for it here.
Well, and there's not a lot of time for Capital to make any adjustments that they might have seen so far simply because they're going to be back on the ball and they're going to want to snap it.
So Hottinger in the gun, trips to the far side, Rice to the near side. And the backfield is number 6, Ethan Shaw. And the interesting start to the play, maybe miscommunication. Hottinger throws an interception. That one is picked off by the Eagles, and they're going to take over inside the 15-yard line, but a big stop on 4th and 8 for the Capital Eagles.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that was complete discombobulation or it was meant to look discombobulated to be kind of a trick play, but nonetheless, nice job by Capital settling in, not getting confused, and just catching the pass that's right to you.
That was right. 1st and 10 now, ball on the 11. So they do have a lot of field in front of them to go here, but they're just happy for the stop. 8:38 to go here in the first quarter. Jordan Peterson will be under the gun, or under the center, rather. 2 wide receivers in the set, 1 on each side. Single back formation. And on Lewiston's defense, they've got 4 down linemen. And we've got a timeout here taken by the Eagles, it appears. That's at least the signal we got.
Well, and defense did their job. You hate to waste this extra opportunity. It looked like the offense was a little confused as to what was supposed to happen, or maybe there wasn't even a play out there. So nice job getting everything. Coach Bonner just kind of saying, okay, let's settle in here and get going. And obviously Lewiston's going to want to keep pressing the action. They themselves were able to force a punt, and I'm sure they're talking about forcing another.
Now, last time, Jason, we were talking about Capital Eagles and their players to keep an eye on. Well, how about Lewiston? Let's talk about the Lewiston players we've got circled for the fans at home.
We have, obviously, we mentioned Robert Storm, and then number 99, Avila, who is somebody also. The defensive line looks pretty stacked in the middle of that, as well as the Jared Jelinek, and we already talked about Rice, and Barden is the kicker, who is also a weapon. It's simply just pushing everybody back.
And then I've got to say, William James White, no, not to be confused with the former Patriots running back, James White, but James White here at the Lewiston Bengals. So 1st and 10 after the timeout. Ball still on the 11. 8:38 to go here in the first. Snaps taken. And it's going to be a counter play here. They try to go up the inside into the teeth of that Bengal defense, and they do so pretty successfully. That's going to be a solid gain here for the Eagles.
They did, and the running back did a nice job of just kind of picking his way through it. Number 8, Horta, who was able to kind of divide up the defense and take them on one at a time instead of all rallying up together and getting him down.
So we'll call it a gain of 8 there, or 7. It's going to be a 2nd and 2. Ball on the 18-yard line. Heading towards the 8-minute mark here in quarter number 1. 2 wide receivers this time to the near side of the field. I formation set. Lewiston responds with 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers over the top. And they're going to hand it off once again. Tries to cut up inside to no avail. He's brought down by that Lewiston front 4. Again, that was Dawson Huerta on the run, but not much gained.
Yeah, that's an interesting matchup. We've seen that formation a number of times, and almost every time it's the same result.
So 3rd and 2, ball on the 20, 7.5 to go. As the Eagles get set to try to convert here on 3rd down. They were stuffed on a 3-and-out in their opening drive. They hope to change things here. I formation, although they've got 2 fullbacks here in this set. Interesting formation here, very power-oriented.
3rd and short.
And they hand it off to the back in the backfield, and it looks like he was stuffed and brought down. Excellent stand there from that Bengals defense, and we're going to have 4th.
Yeah, and we were talking about the D-line. How about the linebackers? Elliott Taylor right there, number 32, and number 33, who would be his buddy next to him, Caden Daniel, who did a nice job of just fighting off the blocks and getting him down. I'm not sure there was any gain on that, and we're back to a capital punt.
And it looks like a loss of 1 on the play. 4th and 3, ball on the 19. It doesn't look like they're going to punt it, though. We've still got the quarterback, Jordan Peterson, in the gun. 4 receivers in the set. Man-to-man coverage on the outside. And now we may see a quarterback punt here. And back deep to receive is Braden Rice. This one is kicked high into the Lewiston night sky. Rice takes it inside the 40. Jukes past the defender and lowers the shoulder into another one. And he's brought down at the 36-yard line.
Nice job by Capital getting right down there. Wasn't necessarily the biggest booming punt, but that time there was no return. It actually worked out better for Capital.
So last time Lewiston was able to pick up a 1st down right off the bat, but then they were stuffed inside when they were closing in on the red zone. We'll see what they're able to do here with more field to work with. Again, they kind of come back with that offset I formation, 3 backs in the backfield. And this time they hand it to number 8. That looks like number 6, excuse me. That is Ethan Shaw, and he runs all the way across the field, pushed out of bounds, and a flag comes out late.
It looked like maybe a little bit of a horse collar there, grabbed him by the back of the jersey. I don't know if it went down the back, but pulled him back, and player safety, probably going to be an extra 15 on this, which again in Lewiston's case, you'll take it and you keep moving.
So that's a horse collar tackle there. That's the call on the field at least.
Defender's like, hey, I just tackled him. I didn't mean anything by it. No big deal.
That is going to be a first down for the Bengals. So the chains will move. And that is a personal foul, so that's a big chunk of yardage right there, tacked against the Eagles. And the Bengals move forward, and they'll come back in that same exact formation, except this time number 21, that's Jackson Lathan. They hand it off to White. White gets to the outside. He's inside the 20, the 15, 10, 5, touchdown Bengals! William James White with the touchdown, and the Bengals draw first blood.
And that time he did look like the Patriots running back, just kind of picking through and powering through and ripping his leg through arm tackles, and off he went. So nice job by White, and a great job by his offensive line and blockers in front of him. Now Capital's got to make sure that they get everything corrected right there. It's going to be their turn. They've had a number of times, a number of opportunities. They haven't really been able to get much going yet.
And it looks like Lewiston is going to attempt a field goal here with Jackson Lathan. And the kick is blocked. It went right into the chest of that Eagles front push there. So nonetheless, the Bengals put 6 points on the board.
Well, and if you're Capital, you got to hang your hat on something, and that right there makes it just a couple of field goals, which we don't see often. But it's one of those where they've had some pretty good success at a couple of little things, maybe on a first down or a second down, and then they're going to stall out. So I'm sure Coach Bonner's over there trying to make sure they get everything corrected, and they kind of string some good plays together.
And folks, while we have a break in the action, let's thank the Power Boosters for tonight's game for on the Capital side of things. Evade Pest Management and College of Western Idaho.
And I could borrow some of that pest management because we've got flies and bugs all over the camera.
And it's just going to get worse as the sun continues to go down. The lights attract all the creatures of the night. It's just abysmal, let me tell you. So you're right, we could use them. Folks, make the memories last a lifetime by owning the digital game file of this game for just $9.95. That's like a gallon of gas. Just click the button in the top right to order. Maybe not the best sales pitch.
But you never know. I'd rather have the memories than a gallon of gas.
There you go.
Because it probably leads to just mowing the yard.
That's right. All right, set to kick once again, Kyson Barden, who sent it into the end zone last time, and back deep to receive for the Eagles, number 18. That is Brady Call, hoping to get his number called here. And here's the kick. It once again goes to Call. This one's taken at the 5. Call. He's at the 10, 15, 20. Jukes inside, spins forward, and he's brought down right around the 25-yard line. Well, he's pushed back to the 20. But forward progress has got him at the 25.
Got a nice little return right there. Maybe something that Capital can build off of. We saw a lot of heavy power runs, and it'll be interesting to see if they do the same thing where they get that fullback in front. And off we go with Horta, number 8. Who is doing a nice job there off and on to pick through the defenders and getting away from those big defensive tackles.
That's right. So going to be first and 10, ball on the 25-yard line as the Eagles get ready to make their way here onto the field. 5:47 to go here in quarter number 1. That Bengals imposing front four is standing at the ready to greet this Eagles attack. The Eagles will come out with one wide receiver on either side, one tight end on the near side. I formation once again. Peterson takes the snap. He's going to fake the handoff to Huerta. It's a wheels to the far side of the field. And now he's just going to try to keep the run here, and he gets out to about the 30-yard line. So a decent pickup on the opening play.
Yeah, nice action play. Keeps everybody more honest next time because they weren't able to all just funnel right in on Huerta and get him corralled. And so nice job by the quarterback right there, getting to the edge and low on the shoulder and trying to pick up an extra yard.
It was checking in from the sideline for the Bengals, number 22, Colby Weeks, the senior linebacker, standing at 6'1", buck 80. So bringing some more size in for the Bengals. I formation look once again. Wide receiver on each side, man-to-man coverage on either side. You got Bramlett here on the near side, Jelinek on the far side. And they go to the fullback up the middle, and he runs right into the teeth of the Bengal defense. Robert Storm was there to meet him.
Yeah, there's that Storm and number 32, the linebacker just filling right up there, Taylor. So Storm and Taylor just imposing their will, and it puts Capital in a little bit of a predicament. We've seen them here, and it stalls, and so maybe they've been able to loosen something up similar to that play-action pass.
So now, once again, 3rd and 6. They'd like to be closer on these third down plays. 4.5 minutes to go, ball on the 29-yard line. Trips to the near side of the field for the Eagles. Looks like a man-to-man coverage with safety covering the slot receiver, and then one receiver on the far side. And it's a slant route, and it's intercepted through the hands of the receiver, right into the hands of number 7, Briggs Dunman. And Dunman is inside the 15-yard line.
What a gift to Dunman. I'm not taking anything away from his ability to catch that ball, but it was just off the hands of the receiver. He was able to stop in the open window. It was going to be a first down, off the hands to the defender, and off he runs. Nice job by Lewiston defense, just taking what Capital's given them.
And the Lewiston Bengals that just scored on their last drive now gets to start 13 yards away from the end zone. Still here in the first quarter. All things going Bengals' way at this point in time. Ball on the 12 officially. 2 backs in the backfield to the left side of Hottinger, who's going to fake both of them, keep it himself. He's trying to get to the far side of the field. And he's brought down. A good tackle there from the Eagles' number 5. That's Trevor Pooley.
Nice job there by Lewiston with misdirection. Capital was a little slow to pick it up, but eventually got it. But really close to that first down over on the far side.
So they're going to cut it in half. Pickup of 6 there by Hottinger. Takes the snap again. He's going to shovel it forward to Lathan, who darts inside, dives for the end zone. Touchdown, Bengals!
Lewiston using the full width of the field there. They went all the way over to the far side with the quarterback. This time they come all the way over to our side with the running back. And it officially goes down as a pass, I guess, but what a nice job of stretching it to both ends. I bet we don't see the kicking game again.
That's right, 12-0. And here's the 2-point conversion with Hottinger in the gun. He's got 2 backs with him, and there goes White in motion. Hottinger keeps it himself in the misdirection. It's good. 2 points on the board for the Bengals.
And that time the defense went to the left, the defense went to the right, and forgot about covering the middle. Again, Capital's going to need to figure out some of this stuff over there on the sideline, but Lewiston definitely gotten things rocking. That misdirection game you were talking about earlier, in full effect.
In full effect, indeed. What a stark difference from last year's contest between these two schools. Lewiston, all things are rolling for the Bengals. You're watching IdahoSports.com. We'll be right back after these messages.
It's time to elevate your finances. Introducing Ascend Checking, the new free checking account from P1FCU that pays you dividends. Earn 1.45% APY on balances up to $15,000. Plus, get online and mobile banking and mobile deposit with no minimum balance requirements. Level up your finances with Ascend Checking. To open your account, visit p1fcu.org/ascend. P1FCU, a Pacific Northwest original since 1938.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here in Lewiston, Idaho, the LC Valley of District 2 on IdahoSports.com. I'm Garrison Hardy, joined by the coach, Jason Hansen. And Jason, right now, it's all Lewiston at this point in time.
It is, and it kind of shows Coach Pancarry's been here a number of years, and we've been talking about how his guys are really starting to take on his personality, really kind of showing right now that, you know, we're better this year, where we've practiced more, and Coach Bonner's trying to get his guys kind of rallied up and getting his his system installed, and so I'm sure he's over there scratching around in the dirt a little bit, trying to inspire his guys to get things going.
About 3.5 minutes to go here in quarter number 1. 14-0 in favor of the Bengals. 2 solid run plays to get those 2 touchdowns. One from James White, one from Jackson Lathan. And now set to kick is number 49, Tyson Barden. And Barden kind of squids this one right down the middle to number 18, Brady Call, who takes it up the middle, darts over a defender and calls in the middle of the field. He's at the 50. He's at the 40. Being chased by Briggs from behind. He's not going to get him. Touchdown, Eagles. What a response from number 18, Brady Call.
Right on cue. There's Coach Bonner's crew saying, okay, special teams can make a difference, get everybody all jazzed up. We forget about where we were just moments ago, and they just take that bad boy right back to the house. Nice job by the blockers, making sure they get to the edges, but nobody grabs too much cloth. And Lewiston's going to have to do a better job funneling and making sure that they don't leave themselves open up the middle.
And suddenly, this home crowd just got a little bit quieter. And now the Eagles with a chance to cut the lead to 7. Kicking for the Eagles is number 15, Jackson Berg, the senior kicker. There's the snap. Good hold. Kick is up and right down the middle. It's good. And that cuts the lead to 7. Lewiston 14, Capital 7. Boy. Oh, go.
Well, I was just going to say, now right on cue. Instead of being a nice, relaxed home, feel for Lewiston, now it's a little bit of anxiety. Like, okay. And the offensive guys, of course, are thinking, that's perfect. That way we just got to get the engines rolling. I'm just kind of laughing off to the distance here. When you kick towards the direction that Capital just kicked, you actually kick out into the road. And so now a couple of Lewiston High School guys and Capital High School guys are out scrambling. I don't think it's a souvenir guys, but they are out there trying to grab it. And here comes the ball thrown back onto the field off of the power line. And so...
and suddenly we've lost power. No, just kidding.
That's what we need.
What an electrifying return there from the Eagles. 14-7, just like that.
And I was just going to say, maybe that's something that Coach Bonner's crew can hang their hat on. That, okay, now we've got some points on the board. Now defense has got to settle in. We've seen them kind of do some different things. They had an interception earlier in the game, so maybe they can get things going. But I'm sure that Lewiston offense is chomping at the bit, thinking, okay, now we get to score and we don't have to try and slow down by any means.
That's right. The go-go offense getting ready to come back onto the field. Back deep to receive for the Bengals, by the way, is number 4, Braden Rice, and his comrade, number 11, Jared Jelinek. We've called his name throughout the years, have we, Jason?
Right, and the nice thing is he's got green shoes and green gloves on now, so he's easy to spot no matter how much power we have.
That's right. Can't miss him. But neither can the defenders, so I'm not sure what he's thinking. All right, set to kick off for the Eagles. Number 15, Jackson Berg, who just hit the point after touchdown, rather. And the Bengals, we'll see where they start things off. Here's the kick. Berg sends it inside the 10. It's going to be taken by Rice at the 5. He's at the 15. He's at the 20, 25. Hurdles forward, rather, and he's going to be brought down at the 28-yard line. Solid return there from Braden Rice.
Yep, got what he was able to get and squeezed that ball hard. It looked like quite a bit of a shot there at the end, but is able to pick up what he can, and that offense is just about ready to get set. And boy, they don't spend much time getting over the ball.
That's right. With 3 minutes and 12 seconds to go, I'm sure they could get down the field if all goes well with about 3 minutes to spare.
Yeah, that's right. We've seen them do that before.
That's right. So 1st and 10, ball in the 29, we'll call it officially. 2 backs in the backfield next to Hottinger, who's going to hand this one off to number 6, Ethan Shaw. He's got a first down, 13 yards right off the bat.
Nice job by Shaw, just kind of tearing his way right through there. Those arm tackles aren't going to be enough, and he picks up that first down.
1st and 10, and just like that, they're back at the line of scrimmage. 2 backs of the backfield, this time on the left side of Hottinger, and fakes the handoff to Shaw. Looks down the middle, a slant route. It's caught! It's going to be a touchdown for number 21, Jackson Lathan. His 2nd touchdown of the day, this time through the air.
It's a nice job, just kind of a play combination where you're just building off the last play. everybody's been coming up on all the misdirection. This time they were able to keep things wide open over the middle, and they were just floated that ball out there. Nothing fancy, just put it out there where his guy could run right under it and head down the field.
20-7.
We missed it by just a few seconds.
12 seconds. I was almost right. Again, 2 backs in the backfield, 3 receivers in the set this time. It's a straight-up pass, but they'll just swing it out to Shaw in the backfield, but he's tripped up hard. Good tackle there from the Eagles secondary, keeping him out of the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, and that's showing my 8-man days, but those are points that you're going to need every time, simply because of the fact that if Capital's kicking game looks as strong as it did just moments ago, you don't want to fall behind simply because you're chasing missed extra points.
So 20-7, 2:48 to go here. Jason, how would you handle the kickoff this time around for Lewiston?
Boy, oh boy, I'm guessing you don't do the same thing you did last time. I would have probably imagined if they could, they'd get old Kyson Barden to boot that darn thing back into the end zone, get a touchback, and not have to worry about the cover team. That being said, I think Paul was thinking, give me another shot, Coach. I'm ready to go.
That indeed. And so the Bengals kick team makes their way out on the field, and Call, he's going to make his way out on the field, and we'll see how things go.
And you mentioned a couple of times, and it doesn't look like he's out there this time, but Call is out there, and number 16, who we don't have on our roster. I apologize, young man, but I might give 16 a shot at it just because we've seen what Call will do.
Folks, again, you're watching Game Night on the Palouse, or the LC Valley tonight, but it's presented by P1 FCU, one of our major sponsors here on IdahoSports.com. And folks, our Army of Idaho Sports action photographers are covering games all over the state. We've revamped our galleries to make it even easier to find and order your favorite action shots. Just go to IdahoSports.com and click the Action Photos link in the menu. And here's the kick from number 49. That is Kyson Barden. And this time it goes into the end zone, so they just took your advice. We may as well kick it in the end zone while we're at it.
Yeah, don't mess around with that.
So 2:48 to go here in the still in the first quarter. And we've got 4 touchdowns on the board. 1st and 10, ball in the 20 for the Eagles. Now, Jason, they've started out with an I formation in this power run game for pretty much every possession thus far. Do you maybe mix it up a little bit, or you just keep going with what works for you?
They must have something in their playbook. They could be setting some stuff up, but I would almost just flip it. If your guys are used to that formation, just flip it to the other side of the field and maybe do it that way. If your guys are used to it and they like it, it kind of changes it up for the defense, but keeps it normal for the offense.
Well, here they go. They're coming out in a shotgun set here.
Scrap it and move on to the next one.
Yep, what do we know? Jaron Peterson, he's going to take it himself, goes right up the middle, and he's not going to get much of anything, maybe a yard at most, but boy, is that Lewiston front 7 tough to deal with.
Yeah, that Coach Pancari's got to be super happy with those front 7. We've been trying to rave on them the whole time simply because they were able to just pretty much bottle up everything so far.
2nd and 9, ball in the 21 after that 1-yard gain. Eagles getting the call from the sideline here. Bengals very much, the Eagles rather, this tempo suits them much more, and it keeps the ball out of the hands of Lewiston's offense.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that go-go if you have the ball.
So once again, shotgun set here, 3 wide receivers in the set. 2 to the far side, 1 near side, 1 back in the backfield. Motion from the far side. And it's going to be a sweep play. That's number 16 for the Eagles, who gets forward, and that's a solid pickup there. And they ran away from that front 7 this time.
Yeah, this time they just had a little bit of motion with it, and they're able to get outside the edge. You don't have to worry about Avila and Storm on the inside if you're running to the outside. So nice play call right there, probing the edges, trying to get to the outside.
It's going to be 3rd and 2 now. This is much more manageable here for the Eagles as they bring out a group sub. 1:20, and they're just going to let that clock roll and roll. Ball on the 28-yard line. Ball spotted on the near hash, and here comes that power set that they tried to run with last time. We've got Call slotted up one-on-one against Bramlett, and they're going to look Call's way. Rather, it's going to be a little pass play here to the near side, And that's going to be a first down for the Eagles. A nice little misdirection there on that play call there.
Yeah, that's we've seen it before with a little bit of a play action to the far side with a quarterback rollout. This time they set up the pass with it. Again, Coach over there, Coach Bonner on the far side of the field, just kind of setting up plays built on what he's already shown, which is a great idea. And then now it's Coach Pancari's crew's job to try and counter those and not be tricked by him anymore.
And that was Keaton Larson on the reception there for the first down, number 19 for the Eagles. And now fresh set of downs for the first time tonight. They've converted on a third down. So that was a big one there to keep the chains moving. Ball on the 39. 20 seconds left in the quarter as Peterson rolls right, fires it over the top, and it's incomplete. There were a couple receivers there in the area. The nearest was number 1, Charles Bonner.
Yeah, and that one's probably one he wished he'd have back. You do have a couple of, I think, open receivers right there, and so you make the mistake of throwing in between two open receivers, and neither one of them has much of a chance at it. Set your feet, make a good throw.
So again, 2nd and 10, ball on the 39-yard line. 17 seconds left in quarter number 1. And they've got 4 receivers in the set this time. Man-to-man coverage from the looks of it on the defense. And it's going to be a handoff read here, and excellent read from that Lewiston defense as number 8, Dawson Huerta, is swallowed up in the backfield.
McClure, number 31, did a nice job of just fighting right through there. He wasn't tricked at all and makes his sure tackle. Now Capital gets to flip ends, get a nice little water break, and now that puts him in a heck of a pickle being 3rd and 13.
That was a 3-yard loss on the play there, roughly. And that's going to bring an end to quarter number 1 here in Lewiston, Idaho. You're watching IdahoSports.com here in District 2. Jason and I will be right back after the short break.
You can't make summer stand still, so make the most of every last second with a new Toyota at Toyota's National Sales Event.
During Toyota's National Sales Event, discover our wide variety of fuel-efficient electrified vehicles. Toyota, let's go places.
It can be a lot, trying to figure out how to make it. How to dream big and to wonder, what if? Because no matter where you are in life, if you don't know what's possible in Idaho, it's hard to keep asking, what if? Which is exactly why Next Steps Idaho was created. With everything from smart tools that help you figure out careers you might be suited for, to training and education options for you. So keep asking what if at nextsteps.idaho.gov.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to IdahoSports.com, brought to you by P1FCU. It's game night here in the LC Valley, and we've got the Lewiston Bengals taking on the Capital Eagles. And thus far, it's been a pretty solid game here. You know, it looked like Lewiston was potentially going to run away with this, but then we had a big kick return from Capital, and now they've still got a chance here on 3rd down.
Yeah, and that Lewiston defense must be ready. They've been playing Eye of the Tiger the last couple minutes, so they're ready. Cheerleaders are rocking and rolling, and here comes Capital.
3rd and 13. Shotgun set, trips to the near side of your screen here. Peterson takes the snap, rolls the near side of the field, has to get rid of it, and it's incomplete. Excellent pressure there from the Bengals, who got right in the face of Joran Peterson.
Yeah, nice job getting in the face, but not roughing the passer, and that causes that errant throw, and now they're going to have to punt again.
And back to punt for the Eagles. It looks like that's number 4, Jacob 4. Number 4, Jacob 4. And back deep to receive for the Bengals, that is number 4, Braden Rice, 4-4. It's 4th and 13, ball on the 39-yard line. And they'll punt this from the 20. Unique spiral to it as Rice takes it at the 30-yard line, and he's pushed out at about the 35. So about a 5-yard pickup there from Rice on the return.
Yeah, gutsy play by his part. I thought he was going to fair catch it, but he catches it in a little traffic and scoots up the sideline, picks up a couple, and Lewiston's back on offense, and Capital maybe has corrected a few things and going to try and corral some of that misdirection.
And as is common with Lewiston, they are ready to go here. They've got 4 receivers in this set stacked on each other. And they're just going to hand this one off the middle to Ethan Shaw. Why not? He's been successful all night, and he's got a pickup of 9, just like that.
Kind of got an embarrassment of riches right now. You have the receivers kind of stacked up with only one defender, so you got an automatic blocker with the defender over the top. And so I'm sure those guys are going, "Hi, I'm wide open. Give it to me. Don't run it anymore."
Well, now they go back to the backfield, the running backs, and Hottinger is going to roll to his right. He's going to bomb this one deep downfield. He's got Jelinek. It's intercepted. Great coverage there by number 35. That's Marcellus Clay, who picks him off. And now the Eagles are once again momentum shifting their way.
Yeah, Coach Bonner's got to be excited about that. That's the second interception of the game. This one just kind of hangs up. The first one was off a receiver's hands. This one just kind of hangs right up there, and off they go. So Capital's offense back in business, kind of trying to find a rhythm so far. They've had some power runs. They've had a couple of misdirections, but they haven't really put much together. So now it's going to be important for them to string something together and take some pressure off of the offense and put it back on Lewiston.
Now here come the Eagles. They're much more methodically placed offense. Comes onto the field. I formation look here. We got 2 receivers here to the near side of your screen. Man-to-man coverage from the Bengals. And they're going to fake the handoff here. Play action look. They go deep down the field, and they've got Cole! Big gain down the middle on a post route. Jelinek finally brings him down inside the 35-yard line.
That is a sure tackle by Jelinek, who's not quite as big as Cole. Matched up one-on-one with not much help, but it does arrive eventually. But he just gets him down, but the damage was already done. That's the kind of play that Capital's looking for, because now all of a sudden it puts him right back in a position to pound that ball.
Ball spotted at the 33-yard line. Huge gain there for the Eagles. And they come out in an offset I formation, 1 receiver on each side. And they hand it off this time up the middle. And the running back powers forward there for a good game. That was the new running back there, number 28, Zach Beckman, who ran that one right up the middle and delivered a pop.
Well, and that's the kind of stuff I think Capital's bus was thinking that they would do when they got here, is that they would be able to throw a little bit and then set up the run, and the run sets up the throw, and you're right back into business that you want to play, which looks like more this I formation power run.
So that was a gain of 3 there. 7-yard pickup. So ball's on the 26, 10 minutes to go roughly. Peterson takes the snap and hands it off once again to number 28. That is Zach Beckman. And he's able to pick up maybe 1 yard there. So a good response from that Bengals front 7.
Yeah, and there's that Storm and Taylor, the defensive lineman and the linebacker, coming up to try and slow things down here and put a lot of pressure on Capital to try and do something different than just run right up the gut.
3rd and 2. Ball on the 25, under 10 minutes to go now. 20-7 the score here in Lewiston, Idaho. 1 receiver on each side, offset I formation. And it looks like we could have an encroachment here from the Bengals. Good count there from the Eagles to throw them off.
Yeah, and that's the kind of stuff a power run team loves, because you get the first down without having to do a lot of work. Looks like Coach Pancary's seen enough, and he's going to want to get his guys calm down, settle down, and here comes a timeout.
And timeout taken by the Bengals. I believe that was their first timeout of the half, with 9.5 to go here in quarter number 2. We're going to keep it right here, folks, and I just want to remind you that we've got prepcasts on IdahoSports.com, always entertaining and occasionally controversial. The IdahoSports.com presscasts cover every inch of Idaho, hosted by Brandon Bainey. Each prepcast features one of our in-house experts talking about what's going on in your part of the state. Just go to IdahoSports.com and click prepcasts in the menu to get caught up on what you've been missing.
Are you cheating or using your resources if that's how I get ready for my games?
Cheating.
It's cheating.
No, you're just using the self-sustainment of IdahoSports.com. We've got it all. Why wouldn't you use us?
That's
as
right.
a resource?
It gives me a little bit of a preview, especially games like this where I'm sorry, Capital, I haven't seen you play much this year, and I don't know a ton about your kids. And so it's a great way to get to know those guys that you don't often hit to hear in your local paper or you may have seen on IdahoSports.com.
That's right. 1st and 10, ball's on the 20 after the timeout here by Coach Pancari and the Bengals. Trying to get set here as they want to stop the Eagles here in the red zone. I formation look, 2 wide receivers to the far side of your screen. Lewiston responds with 4 down linemen, 3 backers over the top. And they're going to hand it off once again. That is Beckman. And he's got a solid gain there. Pick of about 6, we'll call it, from our vantage point.
They are committed to that run. That's that same formation you were just talking about where you have the 2 backs just offset from the eye. And nice job of carrying out the fake. It's going to stretch. No, it's not. He's going to break it right up the middle and right into that defense and gives a pop when he gets there.
2nd and 4. Ball on the 14-yard line. Clock is rolling under 9 minutes now. I formation look once again. Peterson under center. Takes the snap. And once again hands it to Beckman, who's grabbed into the backfield, and he's swarmed by a host of Bengals. It did look like he got to the line of scrimmage at least, so we'll see where they spot this.
Yeah, and he was trying to fight for an extra yard, but the D tackles were having none of it. Avila and Storm were right there to deny him that first down.
So maybe a gain of 1, they're calling it. So 3rd and 3, ball on the 14-yard line. Very manageable setup here for the Eagles. We'll see what they come up with here. Clock is rolling towards 8 minutes. They just want to see time roll off the clock with this different tempo. And once again, Peterson draws them off sides. Excellent composure there from the Eagles. And suddenly it's a first down inside the 10-yard line.
Yeah, it gives them the first down they were looking for. Plenty of time that they can run whatever they want. And now they're in a goal-to-goal situation. You know, we've seen them power run. I wonder if now we're either going to see that quarterback rollout or the play-action pass off that power run. Huerta is in the backfield again.
Probably just got a good rest there, and now he's fresh and ready to go. Now under 8 minutes to go, and the Bengals are showing heavy pressure right now. Almost all the Bengals are in the box, and it's a rollout here. Looks, and he's got the fullback out of the backfield, and it's a touchdown! Capital punches it in!
But nice job by the coach over there, Coach Bonner's crew. You know, we've seen that fullback come through the hole and be a big-time blocker, and this time he just leaks out just a little bit, and then he becomes a great receiver.
That was Ibrahim Talasso out of the backfield. What a powerful fullback to have, and boy, did he just ran like a gazelle into the end zone. And here's the kick. A little bit of a pooch kick there, but it works. That was from number 15, Jackson Berg, and that makes the score 20-14 in favor of the hometown Bengals. Now, let's talk for a sec, Jason, here. The Bengals, they've been playing pretty well for most of this game, but still, the 2 turnovers and that kick return have been killer.
Yeah, and those are controllable. I think Coach Pancarry's crew is going to say that those are self-inflicted. You can't change what's happened, but we can take a little bit better care of the ball. We can have a little bit different play call maybe to make it so the receiver or the quarterback rather isn't feeling quite as rushed. But definitely one of those where Capitals hanging around. Coach Bonner's crew has really showed some improvement. This is week 3 for them, week 2 for Lewiston, and they're really showing some more of that moxie that you get when you've gotten almost mid-season form.
And on Capital's side, just like you said, they're starting to get a little composed, and that's the last thing you want to do is let a team hang around.
And I'm sure Lewiston's crew is thinking, Capital just took one back to the house. Now it's our turn. And with their offense, heck, they might score 16 or 17 times in this 7 minutes if they have to.
7:42 here on the clock after Capital took about 5 minutes off the clock there with the ball in possession, which is exactly what they want. And Berg is all set to kick things off. Back deep to receive for the Bengals. That's number 11, Jared Jelinek. And his counterpart, number 4, Braden Rice. Got their heels at about the 5-yard line. And there's the whistle. And here's the kick. Berg sends this one to Jelinek. He takes it inside the 5. He's at the 10, the 15. He's out past the 20. He's got the sideline. And some good containment there from the Eagles. They were finally able to corral him at about the 35-yard line. What a return there from Jelinek.
Yeah, Jelinek just turning on that speed like you mentioned. he is somebody that the defense knows about, and so they were able to just corral him up there because he's the kind of guy who can put his foot in the ground and come back our direction to the near side, the bottom of the screen, and be gone for his own return as well. Because we've seen him a number of times turn little bits of offense into big, long gains simply because of his speed.
So last time out, Lewiston, they targeted Jelinek on a deep route down the middle, and it was an interception. And there looks like there was a flag on that kick return there. So what looked like great field position, the Bengals are going to be backed up all the way to what looks like the 15-yard line.
It looked like one official knew that and the rest of them hadn't. It looked like they'd kind of spotted the ball, and it was on the far side. Old eyes, I guess.
And they're going to hand this one off to that's Jackson Lathan. He's got the sideline. He's at the 30, 35, 40, 45, and he lowers the shoulder and picks up a couple extra. What a powerful run there from number 21, Jackson Lathan.
Yeah, nice job right there. Not only does he get that first down, but like you mentioned, he brings a little punch with it and tells the defense, you better be ready for the next time too.
1st and 10, ball on the 45-yard line. That was a 30-yard gain from Lathan. They come out in this stacked receiver set here. Shotgun look. They hand this one off to Shaw up the middle, who's looking for an opening, but he's contained very well by this Eagles defense, and he's only able to pick up about 2 to 3 yards.
Yeah, they kind of had him corralled in there, and again, those receivers at the bottom and the top of the screen, I'm sure, are just howling. The defense is over the top of them, but it's about a 10-yard cushion, and the first receiver and the defender are actually matched up together, which makes a perfect blocking situation.
So pick up a 3, 2nd and 7. Hottinger keeps it himself. He's trying to find a crease here. He does, and he's got a first down after the tackle made by number 5, Trevor Pooley.
Yeah, and that's the speed. Where things are going right for Lewiston, you don't get a lot of time to correct anything. You don't have time to shout anything from the sideline and nothing from the booth up here next to us. They're back on the ball, and they're ready to go.
1st and 10, ball on the 43. Hottinger takes the snap, surveys the field. He's going to throw it to the backfield. That's Ethan Shaw. He's out at past the 40, 45, spins forward, and he's brought down at the 46-yard line. But we've got a flag coming in here. It looked like a potential block in the back.
Yeah, and just back to the play call just briefly. Good job by Hottinger. The last time he let that go, it went to Jelinek over the middle, and it got intercepted. This time he pump fakes that, gives him that look, and then swing passes it out there. Now, there could be a penalty on this, but I like the play call and execution there by just doing what the defense is giving you instead of trying to force something that they're not.
So that was a block in the back. That was against number 4, Braden Rice, who was just trying to help his teammate out and get a crease, but, well, you can't do that. So that's going to negate some of the yardage gained, but still 1st and 10, ball on the 43-yard line. Hottinger takes the snap, hands it off to Shaw up the middle. Shaw, he cuts through, lowers the shoulder. He's got a first down. Despite the penalty, Lewiston gets it all back in one play.
Yeah, yards after contact, right? I mean, I thought he was down about 15 yards ago. He gets those arm tackles around his feet. He just rips right through them, picks his way through it, and then all of a sudden he picks up a 15-yard gain like it's nothing.
1st and 10. 4 receivers in the set here. Hottinger looks to the far side of the field. This one is caught by Braden Rice, who lowers the shoulder, tries to get forward, and he's brought down by about every Eagle defender on the field.
Yeah, nice job of not only getting that in just a short route with a lot of contact, but he's able to try and pick up a few yards. And like you said, that defense is around him trying to rip at that ball.
2nd and 7, ball on the 25 now. Hottinger in the gun, takes the snap. He's going to hand it off to James White out of the backfield. He's got a touchdown on the ground already, lowers the shoulder, drives forward, and he's brought down. That's going to be another first down here for the Bengals after what looks like a pickup of 13.
The Capital defense is reading the play very well. They're just not able to execute it. The players are in position. Middle linebackers are right there, and but it just isn't such that they can make that tackle one-on-one.
And we've got a timeout taken by the Eagles. They want to catch their breath and get ahead of this go-go offense here. But my goodness, this has been a pretty successful drive for the Bengals, even with a couple of penalties against them on this drive. We had one on the kickoff return that took them almost 30 yards back, 20 yards back. And then we had one here with a block in the back, and they're still humming along.
Yeah, and you mentioned at the very beginning that the offensive defensive lines by Coach Pancari's crew He's been molding them for years. He's been shaping them for years. It's built in the weight room and all of that. But, boy, they're really showing some will. The defensive imposing, where the defense is stopping Capital in the run. And now almost the same crew on offense, like you said, it's just kind of blowing some holes open. I mean, these guys are getting a couple yards before they even get touched, and then they have the strength to get past that. There has been a couple of penalties, but nice job by Lewiston to just kind of probe to the right, probe to the left, and go where they're not.
So 1st and 10, ball on the 12 coming out of the timeout. Lewiston's offense, they're already ready to go. But on the defensive side of things, what do you think are some things Capital can do to try to stay in front of what an offense that appears it can go anywhere?
Well, I think the offensive line is doing a great job from Lewiston, but we just mentioned that linebackers like Pruitt from Capital were in the hole. They're actually right where the running back's going to be, but they kind of dive and hope that they make a tackle. They have to break down and make that tackle together.
And here it is. There's Shaw up the middle. He's got a crease, and he's got to the outside. Touchdown, Bengals. Well, it looks like the timeout didn't help him.
No, it didn't help him, but, hats off to Lewiston again that they were able to get where they needed to be. And here comes that kind of wonky situation now where Lewiston, with that kicking game, that they have to go for 2 in this situation to make it a 14-point game.
So here's the 2. Hottinger takes it and rolls right. It looks like he's going to try to keep it himself, tries to get to the outside, but good containment there from the Eagles, and they refuse to let that 2-point conversion go through.
Well, and that's the maddening thing. Coach Pancary's guys are doing a good job. They're doing a lot of things well. They're just not completely dominating the game so far, and that's what is opening some opportunity for Coach Bonner from Capital. We talked about how that long bus trip could maybe forge them a better rest of their season, and nights like tonight, we talked about their struggles on offense. They've already put up more points than they have all year, and now they're able to get a couple of good stops on these extra points and keeping them in the game. They have 4:59 left, which is a run team, is a situation where you want a lot of clock, and that allows them to do whatever they want to do on offense. They don't have to go themselves, which probably isn't their normal.
So 4:59 left, as Jason mentioned. And folks, just a reminder that tonight's game night on the Palouse, or the LC Valley tonight, is brought to you by P1FCU. Brought to you by our major advertising partners, Project Filter, Valley-Wide Cooperative, the Idaho Transportation Department, the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare, Next Steps Idaho, and your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. Got some solid Toyota dealerships here in Lewiston, rather. Rogers Toyota, they're everywhere.
That's right.
So here's the kick, getting ready to be set off by number 49. That's Kyson Barton. We've called his name a couple times tonight, but you know who else we've called? That's Brady Call, the junior wide receiver, back deep. Here's the kick. Oh, would you look at that? This one's going to be taken by number 16 for the Eagles. He's got another crease himself, lowers the shoulder, and he's brought down by number 8. Good tackle from Jordan Bramlett, but a solid return nonetheless. They're out to the 35-yard line.
That is, and that builds that momentum we were talking about for Capital's offense. And now it's important again for Lewiston's defense to stay aggressive, especially that D-line. It's probably going to be a heavy run situation because they have plenty of time. And it looks like we've got an official timeout as they allow the players to go to the sidelines and hydrate the hustle with Gatorade. One of our official no, I'm kidding. They're not yet. I'm sure Paul's working on that. But while the players are rehydrating, we will ourselves, as we'll take a short break here and thank one of our major sponsors. We'll be right back after these short messages.
You can't make summer stand still, so make the most of every last second with a new Toyota at Toyota's National Sales Event.
During Toyota's National Sales Event, discover our wide variety of fuel-efficient electrified vehicles. Toyota, let's go places.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to IdahoSports.com. You're watching the Lewiston Bengals taking on the Capital Eagles. A couple of 5A schools here in Idaho doing battle under the lights in Lewiston, Idaho. So 1st and 10, ball on the 35 after a solid kickoff return from the Eagles. Peterson sends it back in motion across the formation. Looks to the near side. It's batted away. Good coverage there from the Bengals, number 22. That was Colby Weeks off the side.
I really like that play call, but better defense by Lewiston. They were able to try and get some motion, which we've seen them do. Capital with their offense. They got a big gain out of that, and then they're going to throw it back to the spot where he just left. But Lewiston had that thing read pretty tightly, and if they had batted that away, I think they were going to try and scoop and score it. But nonetheless, incomplete, second down.
Second and 10, ball on the 35, 4:50 to go now. 26-14 in favor of the hometown Bengals. The Bengals will come out with 3 down linemen and 3 linebackers over the top. They've got man-to-man coverage on the far side, trips to that side of the field. And it's going to be a hook route. This one's caught by, I believe, the coach's son, Charles Bonner, the senior wide receiver. Number 1 makes the catch, and they're able to pick up about 5 yards.
And the play action fakes were outstanding. The camera was going all over the place, so the people are at home going, what in the world is going on?
Grab your barf bags, folks. We're going for a ride on IdahoSports.com. Courtesy of Jason Hansen.
Well, this is an important third down. Of course, they all are important, but it's really one of those where if they could get this picked up, they have plenty of time left in this half to do some more damage. If not, they're going to have to punt it away to Lewiston, who's been able to flex some offensive muscle.
3rd and 6, ball on the 39. Peterson looking, it's an out route over the top. It's incomplete. The intended target was number 35, Marcellus Clay.
It was a careful throw. It was really only where his offensive receiver could get it. Defense was right there, and so he was able to shield him off. But nonetheless, it was an incomplete pass, and unfortunately for Capital, it's going to have to be a punt. And that puts the hands back in this high-powered, quick strike Lewiston team, which is not what Capital's defense is hoping for.
So ball's 4th and 6, ball on the 39. They send this one into the night sky, and it's taken by Latham. Latham at the 30, trying to get to the outside of the 35, and he's brought down at the 40. That's where the ball landed at least, and looks like that's where they'll spot him. And that's where Lewiston will take over. 1st and 10, ball on the 39, they'll officially call it. 3:50 to go, which, as you and I have touched on numerous times, Jason, that's plenty of time for them to put some more points on the board.
Yeah, and that's one of those situations where they were able to do pretty much everything they wanted during their offensive plays. Probe to the left, counters, pass to the right. And so it's really one of those where Capital's probably just hoping to stop something.
1st and 10, ball on the 40. Hottinger hands it off to Ethan Shaw. Shaw trying to get to the outside. He's got a block from James White. He's got the sideline. He's at the 30, the 20, 10, 5, touchdown Bengals. Ethan Shaw with a 60-yard touchdown run.
Well, nice job. Like you mentioned, that you have so many weapons and they block so well for each other. There was White out there who we've picked up his name a number of times for running touchdowns. This time he gets the important block on the sideline, and off he runs. We have Jared Jelinek out there on the sideline getting a good block, the offensive lineman. Now it's important for Lewiston to get these extra points for these 2-point conversions because they've been scared of their kick game.
2-point conversion now, 32-14 to go up by 20. Hottinger takes the snap and rolls left. Good containment there from the Eagles. That was number 88 off the edge. We'll call it Shepherd Fish with the tackle. And the 2-point conversion is no good. But nonetheless, Lewiston strikes big and strikes quickly. 32-14. Jason, that only took about 10 seconds.
Yeah, I think when we say this before it revealed on camera, because we've done so many of these games by Lewiston, this is the norm. A one-play touchdown from anywhere on the field. The guys blocking all over the place. Coach Pancari's crew's just got to be super happy about that, how selfless they are. And it doesn't give that Lewiston defense much time to rest, but that's the way it goes. We got all summer or off season for that. Let's get back out there and play.
That's exactly what Capital's thinking as they make their way back on the field. Capital had a 3-and-out, which is not something you want to do against this Lewiston team. And Lewiston makes their way back on the field. The kicker, number 49, Kyson Barden, getting ready to send this one off. Back deep to receive. is Capital's number 18, Brody Call. And they could certainly use another one of his calls to the house.
Yeah, and we just had number 16, and we're going to get that number, or that name rather, for that number at halftime. But he had a nice return. They just weren't able to build off it much, and so then pretty soon it puts their defense in a heck of a pickle trying to stop this Lewiston offense. So Capital has shown that you can get some yards out of this kickoff stuff if it doesn't go into the end zone. So let's see what the kicker does from Lewiston.
So Kyson Barden getting ready to kick this one off. A couple of Eagles back deep to receive inside their 5. Barden sends this one deep, and I mean deep. It's about 5 yards into the end zone, and that will be a touchback. And that means the Eagles will start things off at their 20, so they've got 80 yards of field in front of them.
And I think that's exactly what Coach Pancari was hoping for, simply because that is way worse field position than Capital was on the last time that they had the ball, and you don't have to worry about Call somehow breaking down coverage and picking up first downs. And so this is a heck of a spot for Capital. There's a lot of time left, 3:37 left, so they do have time to run the ball, get out of bounds, everything that they would want to do with their offensive playbook. But flat out, you got to block this front 7 from Lewiston, which they haven't done very well.
1st and 10, ball on the 20. 3:37 to go here, which for Capital side of things, they could use up all of that clock, and that would be a great way to end the half. Motion from the far side. They're going to hand it off. This is number 16 getting to the edge. We're going to get your name for the next half, trust me. And he's tackled out of bounds. Or they're going to say it's still rolling, actually, at about the 30-yard line. So a good sweep play there for the Eagles.
Yeah, and we've seen that play a couple of times. I thought it was a first down, which should stop the clock anyway, which they are now. But that is been a play that Capital's been able to use a couple of times, but they haven't really been able to build off of shortly after that.
And now they'll start the clock rolling. The official is trying to signal to the clock operator to stop the clock because it was a first down. High formation look here for the Eagles. One receiver on either side. That's Call, and that's Bonner on the far side. Man-to-man coverage. A blitz coming from the Bengals, and they're going to run right into that blitz, and they're only able to pick up 1 or 2 yards because of it. A good pressure there from Lewiston.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about with that front 7. And, Avila and Storm and Taylor and all that crew right in there, and it's pretty tough sledding up in the middle. Not to say they couldn't do it, but with this clock and this game situation, it's kind of tough to do.
So 2nd and 9, and the clock is rolling, which, again, is fine for the Eagles. Ball on the 32-yard line. We got 2 receivers here to the near side, man-to-man coverage. That's Jelinek and number 3, Dayton Phillips. It's a deep shot. It's a post route to Call. Excellent play coverage there from number 11, Jared Jelinek. He was ready for it that time.
Yeah, we've seen something like that before. This time he was a little closer on his coverage, and he was ready for a sure tackle. He also had a couple more friends show up right there at the end to congratulate him. You know, I was also going to say that it is a situation where Lewiston does get the ball in the second half. This is 3rd and 9 coming up, which means that they will get another turn in this half, at least one more turn in this half to be on offense, which for Capital, that's not really what you want to do either. So you're right. The Capital would much rather milk the rest of this clock away if they possibly could.
And we've got a timeout here on the field taken by the Bengals, and now kind of some strategy and chess going on here as the Bengals, they want to stop the clock, and it's 3rd and 9 now, so they've got an opportunity right here to get the ball back and put even more points up on the board.
Yeah, and I like the idea from Coach Pancari's crew thinking, okay, this is what we want to do. We want to make sure that we are totally ready. We understand the game situation. We want to make sure we tackle them, get them down quick. And it's one of those where you kind of want to force your troops to make this a game winner type of situation, even though it's the first half of a game like this. Kind of get ready for the weeks ahead. If you're Capital, you're probably doing the opposite. You want to make sure you grind some clock here. You know that Lewiston's going to call timeout if you stay in bounds or you get tackled short of the first down. And so you got to have your best play maybe in right here. They've done a nice job with their play action pass. They've done some jet sweep. They've done some counter moves with a couple of different running backs. And so I think it's one of those where we're going to see some kind of play action pass here to kind of loosen some things up.
3rd and 9. We'll see if Jason's right. It does look like he's right, though. We're in the shotgun here, so.
I waited until I saw the formation. Hey, I'm not sure I called the play right all year, so.
That's the spirit. Our experts here at IdahoSports.com.
Anybody can do this job.
That's right. Please don't take it. Back in the gun. Peterson fires a bullet over the middle, and it's caught. What a pitch and catch there. That was number 1 for the Eagles, Charles Bonner, on the reception. That's going to be a 1st down, and now they get to melt some clock.
Yeah, and Bonner's really well coached. He runs over, tosses the ball to the official. That way they can get it right back where they want it to be. They don't use up much time. If they want to use up all this clock, they can. If they think their offense is humming, that you're also maximizing the time that you have to work with.
1st and 10, ball in the 45, 1 minute and 40 seconds to go. As Peterson, he's got pressure behind him. He's rolling to his right, looking for any help down the field. He's going to keep it himself, lowers the shoulder, and he's pushed out of bounds. He's going to pick up 5 yards on the keeper, maybe 6. So all in all, a solid play there, but the clock does stop, which is good and bad.
And that's some tough sledding for the quarterback to pick up 5 yards in that situation, and who happened to be chasing him out of bounds from his defensive tackle position? But Robert Storm. What a dude who gets from his defensive tackle, chases him around, gets to the edge, and forces him out of bounds. Not a bad position for Capital, but not much time to work with here.
For those at home wondering, Robert Storm stands at 6'2", 295 pounds. That is a lot of man chasing around Joran Peterson. So Peterson takes the snap, drops back looking, and it's a little screen play here. That's to number 9, Diego Soriano, and he's able to pick up a 1st down with some good footwork there.
Yeah, nice play call. We haven't seen the screenplay really yet. Again, not much time if you're Capital, but at the same time, as you mentioned, maybe they're just hoping to go down to milk all the clock out of this. But nice play call. Picks up the 1st down, gets out of bounds. That way they can set up what they want as they slowly send some people back in because the clock has stopped.
And now we've got an official timeout here. Let's see what the... Well, folks, we are going to take a short break here as we have an official timeout. So we'll be right back after these short messages. You're watching IdahoSports.com, Lewiston versus Capital.
It's time to elevate your finances. Introducing Ascend Checking, the new free checking account from P1FCU that pays you dividends. Earn 1.45% APY on balances up to $15,000. Plus, get online and mobile banking and mobile deposit with no minimum balance requirements. Level up your finances with Ascend Checking. To open your account, visit p1fcu.org/ascend. P1FCU, a Pacific Northwest original since 1938.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Lewiston, Idaho. IdahoSports.com, Lewiston versus Capital. And Capital comes right back out after the quick break with the pass play, and Jared Jelinek blows it up. What a read and tackle from Jelinek.
And you were just talking about how Robert Storm is 6'2", almost 300 bills. This time Jared Jelinek, who's not even half that, I don't think, comes out there, makes a sure tackle, and probably ices away this half simply because now we're under a minute and tick, tick, tick.
2nd and 15, ball in the 48. Peterson back to pass. He's going to throw it to the sideline here, and that is incomplete, so the clock will stop, and we got a flag down at around the 50-yard line.
Illegal procedure, maybe?
We'll see what the call is here from the official. And it's going to be a false start against the Eagles, so that backs him up another 5 yards. And it, we'll see if they accept it here. It's declined. So they're going to keep it at the 48-yard line. I assume they wanted the loss of downs. So it's going to be 3rd and 15 now, 3rd and long. Ball on the 48-yard line with 48 seconds remaining. And as we've mentioned, if Lewiston's able to get a stop here, that's plenty of time for them to go down and score.
Yeah, and they need to flex their muscle, so it's a game on here for sure.
So here we go. Shotgun set here for the Eagles. 4 wide receivers in the set. Peterson in the gun. Lewiston with 4 down linemen. They bring 4. Peterson looking. He's got options. Good pressure there from the Bengals. He gets rid of it, but he was hit hard while he did so. Nearly intercepted, but it's going to be incomplete. And that'll bring up 4th down. There is a flag in the backfield. I'm assuming that's holding. That's just generally what the call is with the flag in the backfield.
Very similarly, I'm sure they're going to deny this simply that way they get the time. The time is way more important than the down and distance. So and it was an incomplete, sorry, Garrison. So it's incomplete, so it makes it 4th and 15, which Capital's going to have to punt in this situation, which means that they have a whole 38 seconds to work with. And what a challenge for the Lewiston offense to say, okay, we can do it when we don't have to. Let's do it now when we want to.
Right. Last time they scored in about 10 seconds. So we'll see what they can come up with here. 4th and 15, ball on the 48. The punter has his feet inside the 40-yard line, their 40-yard line. The ball is spotted again at the 48 of Lewiston. And now we've got a timeout taken by the Eagles. So timeout taken from Capital. While we've got a second, let's thank some of our sponsors. Folks, tonight's game is brought to you by our major advertising partners, Project Filter, Valley-Wide Cooperative, the Idaho Transportation Department, the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare, Next Steps Idaho, and your Idaho local Toyota dealers. And hey, did you get your Gridiron game picks in this week? Compete every week against other high school sports fans and so-called experts at IdahoSports.com for free. That's right, for free. Win weekly prizes and the chance to be crowned the regular season picks champion. It's okay if you start now, because weekly winners, you get $25. If you are the regular season grand champ, you win $100,000. No.
I was like, wait, I am going to apply now.
$100 and $250 to a donation to an Idaho athletic department of your choosing. So, free to play, IdahoSports.com. We've got it all, folks. And again, Capital comes out of the timeout, ready to punt. Probably just wanted to get their coverage in order as the dangerous number 6, Ethan. Oh, is that number 6? That looks like number 4, Braden Rice. Well, he's just as dangerous. Come on. And this punt is going to be a nice spiral to it. Inside the 20, bounces inside the 10, and Rice just has to watch it roll to the 5. So great punt right there from the Eagles' number 4, Jacob 4.
Yeah, and that's a nice job. We saw that actually in the pregame warm-up as I ran off to go grab programs that they had practiced the coffin corner. This time they actually executed, which pushes Lewiston way, way back there. But again, if you're a Lewiston fan, you're thinking, okay, well, we can do this. They were just talking about it moments ago. Let's see if they can do it now that they have to, or whether they really want to.
26 seconds. 1st and 10, ball on the 5. Pottinger, he's inside his own end zone as he takes the snap. He fumbles the ball! Let's see where they spot this. He's at the 1-yard line. That was almost a safety, if not a touchdown, if Pottinger wasn't able to get back on top of that.
Well, and I'm not sure that's pure genius by Capital, but they were able to corral him and get him down, and probably instead of putting Lewiston in a position to see if they can score in X number of seconds, they're probably thinking, never mind, let's just get out of here.
So 2nd and 14 now, and they're just going to let the clock roll out because they didn't want to deal with that dangerous field position. So, folks, we've played 2 quarters here in Lewiston, Idaho. The Lewiston Bengals head into the locker room with a 32-14 lead. You're watching Lewiston versus Capital, a couple of 5A schools doing battle. We'll be right back after these messages. Jason Hanson and I on the call.
It's time to elevate your finances. Introducing Ascend Checking, the new free checking account from P1FCU that pays you dividends. Earn 1.45% APY on balances up to $15,000. Plus, get online and mobile banking and mobile deposit with no minimum balance requirements. Level up your finances with Ascend Checking. To open your account, visit p1fcu.org/ascend. P1FCU, a Pacific Northwest original since 1938.
Some days, I choose the most difficult trail. I test my limits.
Taking the hard path isn't always easy, but I know it's the right way.
When I get done with my ride and I look back at what I've just accomplished, I feel amazing.
It takes courage and determination to do hard things,
But you can do them.
Quitting tobacco and vaping is possible.
You decide when. We'll show you how. Learn more at projectfilter.org or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
You can't make summer stand still, so make the most of every last second with a new Toyota at Toyota's National Sales Event.
During Toyota's National Sales Event, discover our wide variety of fuel-efficient electrified vehicles. Toyota, let's go places.
We're Valley-wide country store. For 100 years, we've been your #1 choice for food, fuel, farm supplies, and just about everything else you could need to get you through your day. We know you work until the job is done, and so do we. For gas on the go, or a little extra to help you get down the road, you can count on us. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we're here for you.
Vaping sucks you in quick, and the more you vape, the harder it is to quit. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems. That's why thousands of teens are joining My Life, My Quit. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
This week, hey, do you have the scores? Oakley versus Kendrick?
It's time to elevate your finances. Introducing Ascend Checking, the new free checking account from P1FCU that pays you dividends. Earn 1.45% APY on balances up to $15,000. Plus, get online and mobile banking and mobile deposit with no minimum balance requirements. Level up your finances with Ascend Checking. To open your account, visit p1fcu.org/ascend. P1FCU, a Pacific Northwest original since 1938.
Some days, I choose the most difficult trail. I test my limits.
Taking the hard path isn't always easy, but I know it's the right way.
When I get done with my ride and I look back at what I've just accomplished, I feel amazing.
It takes courage and determination to do hard things,
But you can do them.
Quitting tobacco and vaping is possible.
You decide when. We'll show you how. Learn more at projectfilter.org or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
You can't make summer stand still, so make the most of every last second with a new Toyota at Toyota's National Sales Event.
During Toyota's National Sales Event, discover our wide variety of fuel-efficient electrified vehicles. Toyota, let's go places.
We're Valley-wide country store. For 100 years, we've been your #1 choice for food, fuel, farm supplies, and just about everything else you could need to get you through your day. We know you work until the job is done, and so do we. For gas on the go, or a little extra to help you get down the road, you can count on us. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we're here for you.
Vaping sucks you in quick, and the more you vape, the harder it is to quit. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems. That's why thousands of teens are joining My Life, My Quit. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
Are there any of the others like Logos CV or Raptor or Cameo?
No, I didn't see any of that. Oh, yeah, it's not updated. Huh. Clearwater Valley versus Logos, no score reported.
And that's in CV.
Yeah, yes.
And I think Logos has a lot of guys. I'm just not sure if they're going to be better than last year, are they?
Coach
Holloway
doesn't think so.
Holloway, yeah.
Yeah, he thinks it's going to be rough.
Yeah. Which
a lot of freshmen.
I would think for him, getting the bodies, I mean, they're kind of, I think they were ahead of schedule last year with being whatever they were, 4 and 5, and I mean that respectfully. Like, they were winning a couple of those games. You're like, oh, okay.
Right.
And then now they're probably a little bit behind schedule, maybe because of that. But CV is CV. They're going to come out and try and knock you out anyway.
Right.
It's kind of tough if you don't love it.
That's true. They'll find out.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and come back then.
All right.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Lewiston, Idaho, here in District 2 of IdahoSports.com. Jason Hansen is in the booth with me. I'm Garrison Hardy. We're the ones bringing you the action tonight. Thanks for tuning in with us. And, Jason, let's go ahead and look around the state of Idaho, if we will. So, tonight, obviously, we're here. It's 32-14 in favor of the Lewiston Bengals. But elsewhere, in 5A, let's keep it at 5A and 4A, Coeur d'Alene is up 13-8 over Sandpoint. What do you think of that score?
You know, up north, that's a heck of a matchup between the Coeur d'Alene, the 5A, and Sandpoint, the 4A. And, Sandpoint brings it. Those are two perennial playoff teams from the north. And so for them to lock horns and play so well early on is outstanding.
Now, another game that you wanted to check in on was down all the way in 1A, D1 versus D2. Kendrick versus Oakley. Kendrick wins 52-48.
Yeah, and that's one of those, let's meet in the middle and see what happens. That game was actually game streamed earlier today, which I might actually sneak home and watch afterwards, depending on what else is going on. If I can get out and mow in the yard tomorrow, I'm going to do it. Put that down, Paul. Yep. They met in Cambridge today, and so neither one is really the home team. It's probably about a 6-hour drive for each one of them. But you have Kendrick, who is a perennial playoff team at the smallest level, and you have Oakley, who's a perennial playoff team at the next biggest level. Saying, hey, let's meet and see what happens, and old school, and it was a defensive shootout. Did you have the score?
52-48, very defensive battle.
That's exactly what you want. If you're going to drive a long ways for a game, you want some points up there. You don't want a no-hitter. You don't want it to be 2-0. You want it to be some points, and everybody. That's how you sell hot dogs, because you're going to be there all day, sell some hot dogs, some hamburgers, and some sunscreen, and what an awesome game.
That's right. And in the same, we'll keep it in 1A D1, as Cary, you and I covered them in the Dome last year against Kendrick in the championship game. That was a close one, by the way. Cary is up on Butte County 34-28. That's in the fourth quarter right now.
Yeah, and Cary has gone up to the bigger 8-man level, and Butte County is a power team there. I mean, we've seen them a number of times, and so that pod, that 4-5 pod, is just going to be outstanding when it comes to the playoffs, and so them to play this early instead of cold and October and who knows what the weather's like, to play this early and match up is a great night for football too.
How about the team you and I covered last week, Kellogg? They are playing a team out of Newport, Washington. They're up 14-0 in the second quarter.
Yeah, and Kellogg is moved down a level. There's a lot of movement with the number of kids in every school and who's what size, and so for them to be playing Newport, which is a little bit bigger than them, but in Washington you're a week behind, so a little bit like we were talking about with Utah being a couple weeks ahead of Idaho. So I'm sure Kellogg is just thinking, let's get this thing rolling and keep it rolling after beating up on Moscow last week.
And speaking of Moscow, they are taking on Clarkston tonight. Clarkston leads 14-0 at this point in time in the second.
Which I have circled on Lewiston's next week. That's who Lewiston is going to play, which is Clarkston, the Battle of the Bridges down here in the valley. And so kind of that common opponent look, and then in a couple weeks Lewiston will be taking on Moscow. So Moscow, I'm sure, is thinking, okay, we got to get some stuff corrected. It sounds like they got the offense slowed from the other team, but they need to get more points. We were super impressed by how Coach Bafus's crew really came on and played hard at the end, even though the score was one-sided. But now he's got to get his guys rallied and start doing it with a little bit tighter school, which means you have more opportunity.
That's right. And seeing as we've covered kind of all over Idaho, let's go ahead and focus here in Lewiston in front of the game we've had before us tonight. Lewiston has looked good, 32-14, and they've also had some moments where, they turned the ball over twice. They've had some penalties, and with all of that, they're up 32-14.
Yeah, if an early season game like this, they've really shown some real strength in their offense and defensive lines, which is Coach Pancari. He's been preaching that for years, but they're really starting to turn the corner for him. They gave up the big touchdown with Call on the kickoff return. So if you take those 7 points off the board, But as far as offensively, just scoring and quick strike, I mean, we thought there for a moment there was some thunder, but it was actually lightning in front of us where we weren't quite sure. The heat is pretty heavy down here in LC Valley, so we thought for a moment that maybe there was some thunder above us. But don't worry, Paul, we're fine. It was the kids getting a little rowdy down below us. But one of those where the offense is looking great, the defense has done their job, special teams had that little bit of a lapse, so Coach Pancari's got to be happy with the way his guys are playing. And Coach Bonner's crew is coming out of the locker rooms here too pretty soon. I'm sure he's thinking, okay, we've done some stuff, we've gotten some points, we've scored on offense and special teams, but defense has kind of struggled against Lewiston's quick strike.
And, hey, speaking of the Bengals, here they come. The Lewiston Bengals are making their way back onto the field to their marching band who are in the stands, but nonetheless making some noise here tonight. And so for Capital's side, let's talk about the Eagles for a second here as they make their way back onto the field as well. 32-14, your offense is a little bit more slow going, and that's just more their tempo that they're comfortable with. You kind of find yourself in a tough spot when you have to probably speed it up a little bit to try to catch up and get back in this game.
That's right, and I think Coach Bonner's probably thinking small chunks. We got to play defense first. So Lewiston is going to get the ball in the second half, and so you got to put up a good defensive effort right off the bat to make sure that you get the ball back, and then you got to get methodical with your offense and be able to do some good things. You have all the time you need. You just got to make sure you're efficient.
And folks, we're going to take just a short break here as we get ready for the second half. We'll be right back here on IdahoSports.com.
Are you going to ask?
It's time to elevate your finances. Introducing Ascend Checking, the new free checking account from P1FCU that pays you dividends. Earn 1.45% APY on balances up to $15,000. Plus, get online and mobile banking and mobile deposit with no minimum balance requirements. Level up your finances with Ascend Checking. To open your account, visit p1fcu.org/ascend. P1FCU, a Pacific Northwest original since 1938.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have figured out the name of number 16 for the Capital Eagles. It is Victor Bayandombe. And so, Victor, there you go. We're going to start calling your name here in the second half. And speaking of which, the second half horn is about ready to sound here in Lewiston. Again, Lewiston Bengals with a 32-14 lead. Hey, we had the fire truck here, the Lewiston Fire Department rolling behind us. They gave us a bit of a honk there, just in support of their hometown Bengals. And Jason, as you and I talked about over the halftime break, it's been smooth sailing thus far for the Bengals.
Yeah, and we've seen that in the past where Lewiston can be really strong in one half or the other. I think Coach Pancari's crew, okay, we're better this year than we were last year. Let's make sure we're a two-half team. Then they get the opportunity to show us right off the bat here because they get the ball in the second half.
So back deep to receive for the Bengals at around the 5-yard line is number 4, Braden Rice, and number 11, Jared Jelinek. Set to kick things off for the Eagles is number 15, Jackson Berg, as he gets ready to send this deep. It's cooled off here in Lewiston as the night is upon us, and so are the night creatures. Pray for us as they try to eat us alive here. Kicking off from the 40. There's the whistle, and Berg sends it off into the night sky, and it goes caught by Rice at the 5. He fumbles it. He has to pick it up at the 10. He's out past the 15, the 20. He's got a hole. He's at the 30, and he's put down at the 42-yard line. What a play there by Braden Rice, making something out of nothing.
Yeah, and I don't think it was an intended trick play, but what a deal where he kind of dropped it, made everybody kind of rally up a little bit different, maybe thinking they're going to be able to get the ball themselves, but instead he picks it up, gets some nice blocks, and out almost to midfield he goes. Nice job. Let's see what happens with this quick strike Lewiston offense.
So 1st and 10, ball on the 42-yard line. And Lewiston comes out in that typical shotgun look with 2 backs in the backfield, flanking Hottinger on his right shoulder. Hottinger takes the snap, looks downfield. He's going to fling it out of the backfield, and it's incomplete. Good coverage there from number 16, Victor Bayandambe.
Yep, right on cue. Now that you know his name. Nice job covering and kind of created that gap with receivers going in all kinds of directions. We haven't really seen that look yet tonight, but Capital wasn't tricked anything by it.
So 2nd and 10 now, and they're going to hand this one off to number 21, and he's got the sideline here. He's got some blockers in front of him as well. Excellent carry there from number 21, Jackson Lathan, and that's a big gain and a 1st down.
Yeah, and there's that Lewiston ground game picking up right where they left off last half, where they're just able to get to the edge and great blocks downfield.
So 1st and 10, ball's now on the 40. He's got that stacked look here from the receivers, but they're going to go up the middle to Ethan Shaw, and he is pushed back by a host of Eagles, still on his feet, and he's finally brought down. But for a second there, I thought he was going to spin away.
I thought so too, and I think Capital was thinking it because they kept bringing more and more guys, and they didn't give up on him because they knew he wasn't giving up.
So that's a loss of 1 on the play. Ball will be spotted on the 31-yard line. 2nd and 11, we'll call it. And they're going to hand it off to James White on the sweep, who gets into the 2nd level, still rumbling and bumbling into the end zone. Touchdown, Lewiston. James White, that's his 2nd touchdown of the day.
Coach Pancari's got to be super happy about how that effort from his running backs. They get some good blocks, but they do a lot of that work themselves, just making sure they keep those feet driving, turning those knees, and he just powers his way in. That is not what Capital was hoping to do here in the 2nd half.
And so here comes the 2-point conversion attempt. Lewiston has not really had a solid day converting this. They go to James White, end of the back of the end zone, incomplete, but there is a flag, and that is going to be pass interference. The big-bodied James White, you almost have to grab a little bit.
Yes, that's right. Well, and that's kind of the same thing. I'm not sure we got it greatly on camera there, but it was definitely a post up, but the ball was right in where it needed to be, and there was Baron Dombe out there with a little too much grab, which moves him, I believe, to the 1.5-yard line, maybe the 1, and see if we get a run here now that we're closer to the goal line.
And another post corner fade, and it's incomplete. That one was just not catchable from Hottinger. But nonetheless, that's 6 more points on the board. 38-14 the score here in Lewiston. And you know, Coach Pancari, that is going to be one area he's going to want to clean up is the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, well, and Coach will tell you that you always have stuff to work on, but you don't want it to show up so easily on film. But it's definitely one of those where you can play the percentages. You can maybe call a couple of different things, and quite frankly, they may be saving some stuff for weeks down the road simply because of some games they have coming up. But, yeah, definitely one of those where they have to be happy with the way the offense is running and clicking, because get his men power and strike and quick, and they haven't had to get too deep into the playbook for anything, simply because White and you name it have just been powering right through that defense of Capital.
So 38-14 the score here in quarter number 3, and that only took a minute and 15 seconds roughly for the Bengals to strike Bader. And now Capital has their chance to respond. Now, Jason, again, you and I talked about the tempo for Capital. When you're working from a big deficit like this, that's quite the challenge to suddenly change the tempo to fit to match.
It is. I think Coach Bonner is probably thinking his team right now, though. I mean, I would think he's thinking, okay, this possession, even if it takes 7 or 8 minutes to do, you got to get into the end zone simply so that way they can have some offensive plays to hang their hat on. Obviously, you want to do catch up, but you really need to make sure you get something positive out of this possession instead of trying to go fast and get 3 and out, and pretty soon you're not doing what you normally do.
And a deep kick here from number 49, Kyson Barden, but it's taken by Brody Call, who's at the 25. He gets through. He's at the 35 and finally brought down. And I thought for a second we were maybe going to have another big kick return.
Yeah, and if you needed to know what you needed to do, White just told us that. So he himself, Call, had a nice return. But this time he almost powered out of what looked like a sure tackle by several Bengals. Looked like he almost had it going to the distance also.
So 1st and 10, ball on the 36-yard line after the kick return from Call. 10.5 minutes to go roughly. And now Capital is going to they're going to attempt to cut this lead down to 17. And then they just got to take it one possession at a time. I know it's cliche, but got to start somewhere. I formation look. 2 receivers in the set. Offset I. And Lewiston responds with 4 down linemen. They're going to pitch it to the near side of the field. And Lewiston, excellent containment there. And it's going to be a loss on the play. Number 99 was in on the tackle, Benicio Avila.
Yeah, and then we had talked about Storm. We've been talking about Storm. Here's Avila coming right up and doing his job. Nice job from defensive line running it inside out where everybody just came up and filled, and they funneled it to the sideline. He tried to turn back, and right there was the defensive line. Just like you draw it up on the board, and nice job. Defense from Coach Pancari's got to be super excited.
And that was a loss of 2 on the play, so it backs him up to the 34-yard line. 2nd and 12, under 10 minutes to go here. Shotgun set for the Eagles. 4 receivers in that set. Man-to-man coverage from the Bengals. Peterson back to pass, flings it over the middle. It's caught. And that is a solid pickup there. It's going to make it 3rd and manageable, so a nice out route there. That looks like number 13, Oliver Edmonds.
There's been a number of times that Capital has had that setup, and they just weren't able to quite hit it. We talked about how he had 2 open receivers, and he threw right between the 2 of them. Very similar look. This time he's able to complete it, get that nice completion, and make a very manageable 3rd down, so now the whole playbook is open.
3rd and 3. Plenty to work with. Ball on the 43-yard line, 9:15 to go in the shotgun set. 4 receivers. Back to pass. Peterson fires a bullet over the near side, and it's caught. We'll see where they mark this. It's going to be close, Jason.
It is going to be close.
Near official came in there.
Right, exactly. Sorry for stepping on you there, but I think he stepped on the 1st down. He caught it at the line of scrimmage, or the 1st down, and then he was pushed back, but you get the forward progress, and so they are moving the chains.
So 1st and 10 after a pickup of about 4 on the play. It was just a simple little hook route. 1st and 10 now, ball on the 47-yard line. And the clock is going to keep rolling, and that is just A-OK when it comes to the Eagles. But, again, not too okay.
Yeah, right. You got to be efficient on this possession. That I think is their main thing. You just got to get points.
3 receivers in the set this time. Call is closest receiver to your screen there. And they fake the sweep, and the quarterback keeper from Peterson, who gets into the 2nd level. He's at the 40, he's at the 35, 30, and he's finally pushed out of bounds near the 25-yard line. What an excellent play there from the quarterback, number 2, Jordan Peterson.
Well, and it looks like they're kind of going back to where they started as far as some play-action pass, some quarterback runs. Capital's just kind of opening up things that they had kind of maybe given up on too early. And now they're getting some nice gains from their offense, which, again, you want to be quick, but you got to be efficient.
So a fresh set of downs here for the Eagles, and that's kind of been their struggle throughout the game, is moving the chains. So pleasant sight to see for them. Trips to the far side of the screen, and that's Call on the near side. 3 down linemen for the Bengals. Peterson, he's going to roll to the far side, and he's got a wheel route down the side, but he just didn't get quite enough. But there is pass interference called. Jared Jelinek doesn't know it yet, and now he does. He saw the flag.
It's not as good as the reception, but it counts essentially the same. Where Jelinek doesn't really want that to be the case. He was right where he needed to be, but maybe a little too handsy. But if you're a Capital fan, that's what you needed. You needed to move the ball, and in this case, the clock will stop on the penalty, and so you got a chunk of yards. You're closer to the goal line. The clock is stopped. You still have plenty of time to work with, and you're being efficient.
So it's going to be 1st and 10, ball on the 13 after that penalty from pass interference, again called on Jared Jelinek. And now the home crowd trying to make some noise here, making it so it's even hard to think. I don't know what I was just going to say. 1st and 10, ball on the 13. We'll see what the Eagles can come up with here in the red zone. Trips to the near side. Peterson's in the gun, takes the snap. He's going to roll to the near side. He's got plenty to work with, but he's starting to get closed down, and he's brought down hard. What a tackle from number 34, Tyler Grandland. And boy, did that space close quickly.
Yes, and we've highlighted the front 7, the linebackers and the D-line. This time the defensive backs do their job and allow that coverage sack where we're going to be down here way down by the end zone by the popcorn doing our job. You just go get that sack and make everybody look good.
And that they did. A 2nd and 12 on the sack from Grandland. Ball's on the 15 now, which in this area of the field, getting backed up a little bit's not always the worst thing. Gives you receivers more room to work with. 3 wide receivers in the set. Bengals with 4 down line men. And they run the sweep here. That's number 16. Gets to the outside, but good containment there. That was number 16, Victor Bayandombe on the run, but good containment from the Bengals.
Yeah, I was going to say that we've seen that play spring for some really good yards. As much as you were saying that you get pushed back, this time it didn't really help out that play call, and Bayandombe was able to get corralled. Defense from Lewiston doing a much better job making sure he didn't get down the sideline. He got to the edge, but he was pushed out of bounds instead.
And folks, we've even got a nice breeze working here.
Oh, thanks for dialing that up, Garrison.
Yeah.
You could tone down the bugs, but we'll take the breeze.
That's right. Amen.
It was our power deal again, some pest control.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good point. We'll snap the ball here. Peterson looks to the end zone, and it's caught. Touchdown. Marcellus Clay in the corner of the end zone. Picks up 6 for the Eagles.
And that's that Capital team being super efficient. Took about 3 minutes off the clock, but they got the touchdown they needed, and they just worked their offense. They were able to pick up some yards with run. They got a couple of penalties that worked out in their favor. This time Peterson was able to kind of hang with the play long enough that they were able to break coverage and get that wide open receiver in the corner of the end zone.
And now we've got number 15, Jackson Berg, on to kick the PAT. Snap is good, kick is up, and it's through the uprights and good. So that's one thing that Capital has done solidly, has been the PAT. They're 3 for 3 on the day.
Yeah, the kicker would like to have a few more opportunities, so that way it was maybe a little bit more purposeful, but that is efficient, and it didn't take that many minutes off the clock from a Capital side, simply because of the fact that we've seen them be a little more methodical than that, but they had a little bit of tempo. They didn't go completely into their slow down mode like they did earlier in the game, and it might quite frankly be better that it's cooler out here and they can go faster now that this is probably a little bit more of their temperature.
That's right. So 38-21 the score now, 7-11, not the gas station, 7-11, that's the time left in the game as Capital gets ready to bring their kick team out to send it away. Now, Jason mentioned the power boosters here, and hey, Capital's got some. Evade Pest Management. We could, like Jason said, we could use you in the booth right now as we're getting swarmed by creatures of the night, barely surviving, folks. And College of Western Idaho. Thank you to our power boosters for Capital High School. In addition, brought to you by our major advertising partners, Project Filter, Valley-Wide Cooperative, the Idaho Transportation Department, the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare, Next Steps Idaho, and your local Toyota dealers. And now Capital is set to send this away. The kicker, the aforementioned kicker who made the PAT just a moment ago, is Jackson Berg, getting ready to send this one away into the night sky. And back deep to receive, Braden Rice and Jared Jelinek, a dangerous and dynamic duo. Waiting on that whistle. And it's an onside kick attempt here. It looks like James White was able to corral it and hold on to it, but hey, I like the call.
A little bit of game within the game. I think we were hanging with the broadcast long enough that they actually switched the front line. So Lewiston was able to take their front line and switch which direction they were. They were able to see which way the kicker had set up the ball. And they've taken a lot of the little trick plays out of the kicking game, but they were able to be ready for that onside kick.
1st and 10, ball on the 49-yard line, and they're going to hand this one off to Ethan Shaw as he tries to pick his way through the defense, but he ran right into the talons, if you will, of that Eagles defense. There you go, some wordplay. Yep.
That's well played. Well, and I was also going to say that, and I don't want to jinx any of the Lewiston running backs, but they're doing a nice job of squeezing that ball, knowing that the Eagles are going to want to be ripping at it because they have to get the ball back in this situation.
And this is a new running back out of the backfield for Lewiston. That's number 44, Jube Jenkins, and he bursts through for a first down.
Well, that's a nice job by him getting fresh legs in there, and off he runs.
So fresh set of downs for the Bengals, 1st and 10. Ball spotted at the 40-yard line, 6.5 minutes to go as Hottinger rolls right. He's looking downfield, but he's got to run away from pressure, and it's incomplete. A smart decision, just throws it at the feet of a nearby receiver, but also at the feet of an Eagles defender.
But at the same time, they did change the rule, and it takes a little while for us to break old habits. You can throw the ball out of bounds now in high school. So in that situation, as much as it is okay to throw it down, I thought the defensive player was going to make a play on that. So it's okay to throw it out of bounds if you don't like what you see.
Hottinger keeps it himself. It's an option here. He gets to the second level, and he's tripped up and brought down at the 25-yard line. The Bengals are humming along here.
And they want to pick up that pace again. They know they got Capital on their heels. They want to get the ball back. They hand it to the ref. The ref gets it out there. It gets right underneath the center. Center's ready to go.
Hottinger takes the handoff up the middle to Ethan Shaw. Shaw hurdles a defender, and he's brought down inside the 20, mark at the 15. And that's close to another first down. It is a first down.
Yep, and they have to wait for the change to go, which makes the offense a little antsy as we see the offensive lineman already squatting down to get going on the next play.
So that was a gain of 10 right there from Shaw, who's had a great game on the ground today. 2 backs in the backfield next to Hottinger. He's going to keep it himself, but it's a reverse here to Jelinek. Jelinek's got a crease. He's got the outside blockers. There's a flag down, and that is a touchdown, but we'll see what the call is. My guess is there's a holding call. There were 2 flags thrown there.
Yeah, an offensive lineman going, what are you talking about? It was the other guy, not me. You know, nice play. We've seen it go up the middle with a little bit of a blast play. This time they tried to use some of the misdirection of a reverse where everybody's going to race to the edge and then they flip it back and come the other way. Jelinek, who's done a nice job of blocking this whole time, tries to get rewarded with a little bit of a handoff for a reverse, but unfortunately it looks like too much grabbage of the cloth means you're coming back.
So that is the call, indeed the call, and it's going to be 1st and 10, ball on the 25 after the penalty, and a Lewiston player just lost access to his armbands. That's brutal stuff, folks.
That's what happens when you have a holding.
So the 10-yard penalty there from the holding. They come back out in that stacked set here of receivers, but they're going to hand it off the middle to Ethan Shaw. This time the Eagles are ready for it, and they swarm him. No gain on the play.
That was a great job by the defense. Looked like they just kind of ran over a couple of the Lewiston offensive linemen and made a big hole, and there was no way for him to get around that much as number 72, Rothenbuehler from Capital, was right there for the big tackle.
And there's another run from Shaw. Oh, excuse me, that's Hottinger, who's inside the 5. What a carry from the quarterback. He's doing it all.
Yeah, he's doing a nice job of feeding the running backs, keeping them everything off balance. This time he misdirects everybody, including the play-by-play guy, and off he goes, almost down for his own touchdown.
And we're going to have a timeout here, as it looks like he's got a flat tire that he's trying to amend and tie back on here.
Almost ran right out of his shoe.
So that they're going to mark it down at the 2-yard line here. Under 5 minutes to go. And, boy, for Capital, they really need a big-time stop or a turnover.
Yeah, and Jelinek is probably whispering in everybody's ear. That reverse would work one more time. Give me the carry.
That's right. This time don't hold. So Hottinger's going to stay in there. He's got his shoe back on and secure. And the refs will give the signal. 1st and goal. Ball on the 2. They hand it off to Shaw. Old reliable. He powers his way forward. Touchdown! Lewiston puts 6 more on the board.
That offensive line from Lewiston just doing some heavy work. This time right up the middle it went, and everybody had their arms up for the touchdown. I think Jelinek had his arms up first. Coach Pancari's got to be super happy with how much they block for each other, and who cares who scores? We just got to make sure we get 6.
You know, just like last year, it's looking like the front 7 for Lewiston is going to be the thing that is the engine this year for the Bengals. And hey, it looks like they're trying the kick again this year.
Well,
they've got a late sub.
Hold off for a second. We need to have 11 out here.
So here's the kick, number 21, Jackson Lathan. And this one's good. So there we go. Lewiston converts and puts in the PAT. 45-21 the score now.
Almost a trick play.
Yeah, that's right. So, folks, here in the 3rd quarter, 4 minutes, 33 seconds to go. Lewiston 45 and Capital 21. Again, we want to thank the power boosters from Capital, Evade Pest Management, and College of Western Idaho. And also, make the memories last a lifetime by owning the digital game file of this game for just $9.95. Again, about the price of a gallon of gas in this day and age. Just click the button in the top right corner to order on IdahoSports.com. But hey, what a cool feature for these kids to have, as they can have games like this that are broadcasted and covered, and they can hold on to those files going forward. And if we've got some kids looking to go to the next level, send that into a coach.
Yep, without a doubt, and that's a lot how it happens, is somebody sees somebody playing in a game like this, making some good plays, and it isn't always just the guy carrying the ball, but somebody blocking, somebody tackling, and so Capital's going to get the ball back here. They were super efficient the last time, but they can't get in this habit of trading baskets, the whole concept of you score and we'll score and you score. When you're down by 20, that just doesn't work, and so I'm sure Coach Bonner over there is thinking, okay, we got to be just as efficient as we were, but we have to make sure we get a stop the next time we're on defense.
So 4 minutes and 33 seconds to go here, and again, with Capital's with their tempo, they might use all of that to get down the field. That's just the way they move the ball. And here's the kick from Lewiston. That's going to be taken at the 5-yard line from Call. He's at the 15, the 20. Tries to get to the outside. Good containment there and a big hit. What a tackle made by, I can't exactly see his jersey. It's bunched up. That's number 28 from Lewiston, Connor Fry, the junior. Oh, just kidding. That's number 20, Colin Phelps, on the tackle.
Well, and that's those guys coming in making plays on special teams. We talk about offense and defense, but special teams is also a time when guys like that can come in, make their mark, have a big hit, get some momentum going, and put a stop to this Capital return game that's been really efficient and ended up in a touchdown in the first half.
1st and 10, ball on the 28. And the snap's taken by Peterson, who hands it up the middle. And not much gained there as they tried to run it down the right side and maybe pick up 1 or 2 yards. That was number 8, Dawson Huerta, on the carry.
Well, and there's that front 7 again. All kinds of beef up there, making sure that they get everybody stopped. It looked like Storm was up there again, as well as his buddy Taylor, who's right behind him in this defense with the linebackers stacked up behind the defensive line.
So 2nd and 8, ball on the 30 now. 3 minutes, 45 seconds to go here. 3 receivers in the set here for the Eagles, as number 16, Victor Bayandambe, goes in motion across the formation, and now he goes back. And they fake the sweep. They throw it out to, that's number 1, Charles Bonner, who tries to get to the outside, and he's brought down out of bounds after a solid pickup there. That's going to make it 3rd and manageable.
You know, as much as it is a situation where it looks like, you know, Bayandambe is kind of running around there, kind of doing all kinds of things, Coach Bonner's getting a look at what Lewiston's doing. Is it man, is it zone? And then you're able to kind of use it as an extra blocker like that, where you leave an area which vacates the zone, and then you're able to throw behind it, and then you're almost picking up the first down. And in fact, the official waved as if it was a first down.
It looks like it is. They're moving the chains here. So it's going to be 1st and 10, ball on the 38. Excellent pickup there for the Eagles as they come out in an offset I formation. 2 receivers in the set. And motion there from the line of scrimmage on Lewiston's side. Peterson's making some audibles here under center. And there's a big hit there. Oh, man.
Avila is saying, hey, I tackled him so hard I got the ball. And so it was within the rules, but, man, that was a big old power slam by the defensive lineman as he wrapped up the running back and got him down. That's quite a tackle right there. But that's also going to be a potential drive killer, where you're talking about the efficiency of Capital. They have all the time they need, but they have to be efficient. And if they could get a stop here by Lewiston, these younger guys are going to probably be able to start sneaking them way into the game.
So 2nd and 10, no gain on that play. Ball on the 38-yard line. Clock is rolling towards the 2-minute mark. Capital's got to get a move on here, trailing 45-21. I formation set. 2 receivers in the set. Peterson takes the snap. 5-step drop. He's going to fire it downfield. This one's intercepted. The interception made by number 28, Connor Fry.
Nice job by Fry. It looked like it was actually his ball to be had. And one of the first guys out there is Jelinek to give him a big old high five. And the defensive line's over there beating him on the shoulder pad, saying nice job. And this Lewiston defense is now on fire, just like their offense has been.
So it's going to be a 1st and 10 now. Ball on the 38 for Lewiston. And they could essentially close the door on this game if they're able to score on this drive. 2:06 to go. 2 backs in the backfield, 3 receivers in this set. Jelinek goes in motion, and he's going to be a blocker on the edge. As it looks like there was a fumble in the backfield, and Lewiston just had to dive on it and hold on to it. That was Hottinger who was able to cover it up.
Well, it's been pretty sharp in that way that both teams have corrected all of those first game or first type of game jitters of fumbling, misreads, and what have you. So that's pretty good to be this far into the game before you see the first one.
2nd and 14, ball on the 28 after the loss there, and they try to run it to the outside, and this one's stuffed by the Eagles. And suddenly, it's 3rd and pretty long for Lewiston.
And this is the opposite where we were just talking about, where all the Lewiston fans were excited. Now it's Capitals fans going, okay, here we go. If we get a stop right here, force a punt, we end up with some excellent field position.
And now Hottinger rolling to his right, looking. He's just looking for any help, and he just throws it down at his feet, but we'll see if that was intentional grounding, because there technically wasn't a receiver in the area for where that ball landed.
Well, and there's a little bit of a change. We've seen it in the NFL. We've seen it at And the college level where now you can throw the ball away, but that's going to be new for everybody. But again, Capital's defense really rising to the occasion. That was Tucker French right there with the defense, number 55, doing his work, making sure that play did not really develop into anything.
So 4th and 14, ball in the 28, minute and 4 to go here in the third quarter, and they're going to punt this one away. This one's an end-over-end kick, just trying to get rid of it, and their Capital's going to let it go. It's going to be touched down by Ethan Shaw at the 33-yard line, and that's where the Capital Eagles will take over with 54 seconds left in the third quarter.
Well, and the defensive coordinators for Capital's got to be super excited that we haven't really seen them punt very many times today. And so they've done their work. The problem is obviously there's not much time left, and so you've got 54 seconds in all the fourth quarter to try and do much of a catch-up. Again, you have to be more efficient when you do get the ball. We saw Capital just stall out here moments ago with an interception, and so you have to keep possession and get points.
So 1st and 10, ball on the 34-yard line now. Let's see if Capital's able to cut into this lead and make it a 17-point game once again. That's been about the threshold lately. They're trading baskets, as Jason mentioned earlier. And there's the fake sweep. Peterson's going to keep it himself and try to get to the outside, but to no avail. Good containment there from Lewiston on the tackle, number 5. That is Chris Ricard. And definitely not the start that Capital wanted, but there is a flag down.
There's a flag. Not too many times you have a backup quarterback as your defensive end and throws the other quarterback down like that. But then again, we saw last week at the 2A level, Kellogg's defense was shored up by their quarterback playing a lot of safety stuff. So this is one of those where it looks like it's going to be holding on Capital, which pushes them farther back. Essentially, probably going to take the yardage, which means that play was for naught. But it also means that Capital builds quite a hole here. Their offense really isn't designed for the old, what would that be, 2nd and 20, 25, and so it could really be quite a stretch to what they were going to try and do on offense here with a lot of just like, let's just line it up and give it a chuck.
So 1st and 25 with the penalty. So backs it up, and the clock is now rolling. 30 seconds and under now. I formation look for the Eagles. And it's a nice little corner route. What a catch by Call! A one-handed snag on the Lewiston sideline. And that's going to be a solid pickup there and get them close to the original line of scrimmage.
And then Call says, well, wait a minute. You don't think we can do it? Let me catch this thing, like a little bit of Odell Beckham Jr. there, Giants fan. And so
there you go.
Quite a snag right there on the sideline. Lewiston defense, not much you can do for a catch like that. Just hope to get him down or pushed him out, which they did. And so it makes it a super manageable 2nd down and 10 again.
Ball spotted at the 34 now. So again, same line, the original line of scrimmage. Good play from the Eagles. 4 receivers in the set this time. Peterson in the gun. Peterson back to pass. And he throws it to the far side. This one's caught by Bonner. It's another solid pickup. Gain of 6 from the looks of it.
And probably the end of the third quarter, Lewiston doing a nice job of trying to hold them off, but Capital making this what looked like a situation that's too deep to get out of with the 1st and 25. Now all of a sudden you have a 3rd down here that's designed for your offense.
Well, that's right. So 3rd and 4, the entire playbook opened up to them, and that's the end of quarter number 3. So, folks, we've played 3. Our score in this one, Lewiston 45, and the visiting Capital Eagles 21. We'll be right back after this short message.
It's time to elevate your finances. Introducing Ascend Checking, the new free checking account from P1FCU that pays you dividends. Earn 1.45% APY on balances up to $15,000. Plus, get online and mobile banking and mobile deposit with no minimum balance requirements. Level up your finances with Ascend Checking. To open your account, visit p1fcu.org/ascend. P1FCU, a Pacific Northwest original since 1938.
The sounds of Sweet Caroline serenading us as we make our way into the fourth quarter. And we've got a big third down play here for the Capital Eagles. 3rd and 4, ball on the 40. To me, they really need this if they want a chance to stay in this game. 4 down linemen for the Bengals. 2 linebackers over the top and then man-to-man coverage on the outside. And it's a quick slant route and it's caught. Big first down conversion for the Eagles.
Excellent job. That receiver just kind of drops right down right where the opening was. That was number 13. Let me look here real quick. Oliver Edmonds, who does a nice job of just settling right there. He knows he's going to take a shot, but he gets the first down. And this important drive you just mentioned is still alive.
Still alive indeed. Pickup of 6 there on the slant. 4 wide receivers in the set here. Peterson in the gun. And Lewiston showing pressure from one of the linebacker spots. And he drops back into coverage instead. They're going to hand this one off on a quick sweep here out of the backfield. That is number 9 for the Eagles, Diego Soriano. And he's able to pick up about 2 yards.
Well, we've seen that play go with a couple other guys where they just kind of make it look like it's going to be one way and it goes another. This time, Lewiston was able to corral it to make it a much shorter gain than normal. And in Lewiston's favor, the clock is running anytime you tackle the player inbounds. And so now all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, the clock becomes an issue if you're hoping to make something happen here for Capital.
So 2nd and 7 after that short run. Trips to the near side of your screen. Peterson, he's going to roll that way. He's got a wheel route out of the backfield, and it is incomplete. That was Marcellus Clay, who couldn't hang on to it out of bounds. And it's going to bring up 3rd and 7.
Excellent defense by Lewiston, number 7 right there, who was able to, because the ball hung up in the air so long, it was able to make his play, which was Briggs Duman, who was able to knock that ball away and harass him just enough. And again, puts Capital in a 3rd down situation, but the clock does stop on the incomplete pass. Again, Capital trying to make a little bit of a push here. They've been efficient. They've forced punts. Now they just got to string it all together if they're hoping to make a splash.
And by the way, Duman already has an interception to his name tonight off the tip drill. 3rd and 7, ball on the 49. Capital really needs to keep the chains moving. Peterson looking, throws it to the far side. It's caught by Clay. And they go right back to Marcellus Clay, and this time he hangs on to it, gets that first down.
And right on cue again, so they're moving those chains you're just talking about. He gets himself out of bounds, doing everything coaches would be asking, so Coach Bonner and his crew has to be super happy. That being said, Coach Pancari's crew thinking, okay, now we have to kind of bow up here and make our own statement on getting them stopped and doing what's best for them as far as managing the game and staying efficient on defense.
1st and 10, ball on the 41. Trips to the near side of the field once again, and that's generally where Peterson rolls out to. But this time he's going to fake the handoff and keep it and try to go to the opposite side of the field. Some trickeration there, but he's only able to pick up maybe 1 yard or get back to the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, nice job breaking tendencies right there with Ricard. It's hard to tell with his shirt all bunched up right there, but yep, the PA just told us. Again, like you said, we've seen Peterson do a couple of things towards that trips formation. This time he breaks that tendency, but isn't able to pick up much as far as yards. And more importantly, the clock is running.
10 minutes to go, which is the clock is not the Eagles' friend at this point in time. 9:50 on the clock and rolling. Ball on the 40. Motion from the far side, that's Clay. Looking downfield is Peterson. He's got an open target, and he's able to make the catch and fall to the ground immediately. But that is going to move the chains, and that was number 13 on the reception, Oliver Edmonds.
Yeah, all of a sudden, Edmonds' number has been called a number of times. And so, again, getting super efficient on offense with Capital breaking some tendencies. We've seen some plays go different ways now that we're deep into the fourth quarter. And again, just trying to pick up chunks of yards instead of a couple at a time. Lewiston has to kind of bow up. This is where you want to say bend, don't break, and force them to be denied some extra points here.
1st and 10, ball on the 25-yard line. After the reception from Edmonds, as we head towards 9 minutes, Peterson throws it that same side of the field. This time was to Brody Call, and it's incomplete.
And there was some pressure to his face. Number 24, White. We've seen him do some damage on offense. This time he flips the script. He's on defense, and he's just rushing into Peterson's face and tries to swat the ball. And that could have probably done some distraction on that pass, or at least the throw.
So 2nd and 10 after the incompletion. Ball's on the 25 still. 9:13 to go with the clock stopped here in the 4th quarter. Capital really needs to get 6 on the board here.
We haven't heard Call's name in a while. It will be interesting to see if they send somebody deep.
They're rolling that direction, but a good blitz off the side. James White, we've called his name on offense. There he is defensively.
Back to back, it's about time for us to start talking about players of the game. He's got to be in that short list of guys who've done serious damage on both sides.
It's 2 touchdowns to his name offensively, and then a big sack there defensively. A loss of 10. 3rd and 20 now. Ball on the 35-yard line. Clock is still rolling for Capital. Got to have 6 here. Trips to the near side. Peterson once again in the shotgun. And there's a blitz. 5 rush for the Bengals. Peterson throws it down the middle. Intercepted! Jared Jelinek! He just may have closed out this game. And, oh, goodness, maybe some unnecessary roughness there, but we also have a flag that was thrown earlier, a block in the back from the Bengals. There's going to be flags going both directions on this one.
But how about that Jared trying to make his throw, trying to get the ball where it needs to be. Jelinek, we've seen him doing a number of times, is able to sneak in there, put his big green paws on the ball, and come away with it. And then all of a sudden he's off and running, and they're back on business on offense.
And folks, we're going to take a short break here as the officials sort out the flags and whatnot. We'll be right back here on IdahoSports.com.
You can't make summer stand still, so make the most of every last second with a new Toyota at Toyota's National Sales Event.
During Toyota's National Sales Event, discover our wide variety of fuel-efficient electrified vehicles. Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to Lewiston, Idaho, as the Lewiston Bengals just had a big interception there. But during the process, there was some block. There was a block in the back for one, so they're going to lose some yardage on the interception return made by Jared Jelinek. And Jason, he very well could have closed the door on the Eagles permanently.
Yeah, and both coaches have got to be super excited. I know this isn't the end of the game, but they have to be super excited about how their kids have responded. Capital's guys have been putting up a heck of a fight as far as we're going to score points, we're going to get stops, we're going to try and make some good tackles. And Lewiston is also showing a lot of pride, like that kind of interception where you're just not letting them do whatever they want to do. You want to get some defensive points yourself. So both crews doing a great job. Now it's Capital's turn to play some defense. Otherwise, Lewiston's going to score again here.
And here's Hottinger. He's got an option to pitch it, but he keeps it himself, and he's got a first down and some. Gets nearly 20 yards on the carry. And the Bengals are off and running just like that.
And we talked about how Capital had broke some tendency. This time, Hottinger is keeping the ball on some of these counter moves, and so he's out there by himself on big old runs for 20 yards.
1st and 10, ball on the 32. Jelinek keeps it on the sweep, gets to the 40, and he's brought down face first into the dirt. And that certainly probably didn't feel great, but hey, the Eagle was just trying to bring him down. So.
I like the idea of feeding Jelinek. We saw him almost score on that reverse, except for the holding. This time they get him on another little bit of a misdirection play, getting some new guys, some touches.
And this one is Jackson Lathan off to the side here. Tries to get it upfield as much as he can, but good containment there from the Eagles on that play.
Yeah, and the Eagles are probably thinking, well, we got him in 3rd and short here if we can get a stop. Lewiston likes to go fast no matter what the score is. This time they're up by 20, 24, and they're back on the ball, not running much clock here.
3rd and 2, ball on the 41.
But Pancary's staff puts it in a shift, which kind of takes up some time.
And that right there is a false start, and it's going to back the Bengals up. That was a couple Bengals moved. Essentially the entire left side of your screen was part of that false start.
Yeah, and that puts them in a little bit of a pickle, but they go so fast and they like to be back on the ball. It won't be any time before they're snapping it and off they run it. It'll be interesting to see if they put in another shift or they go back to the original play, which was probably supposed to go to the far side of the field or the upper part of the screen.
And in the game, in the rotation now for the Bengals, number 14, Rylan Gomez. He's one of the receivers streaking down the field. This one's caught on the sideline, and Braden Rice stays on his feet, gets well past the first down into Eagle territory, and just like that, they convert the 3rd down.
Well, and that's important, too, for Coach Pancary's crew, that they bow up here and they're getting these, dominant plays that they're able to get the first downs on plays that they need to keep this clock running themselves. Even though they go fast, you got to be in control.
Ottinger takes the snap, hands it off to Ethan Shaw, who's just trying to make anything happen now, but he is brought down in the backfield. That's going to be a loss of 6 or 7 on the play. That play just didn't develop correctly for the Bengals. And now, Jason, while we have a second, well, that's just it. We don't really have a second here as the Bengals are back on the ball. So they call it a loss of 3, so forward progress, 2nd and 13. Ottinger throws a post route over the top and incomplete. That play had a little bit of confusion there as number 4, Braden Rice, and number 14, Rylan Gomez were both in the area of that pass.
Yeah, and it kind of landed in between them. We saw that earlier by Capital where the quarterback's thinking, okay, I got 2 open guys, which one should I hit? And you hit neither right in the middle.
So 3rd and 14 after the incompletion. And so, as I wanted to say, for Lewiston, we didn't see much of this last year, but slowing their tempo down as the game heads into the 4th quarter, that might be a bit of a challenge for them and something to practice going forward as the season progresses. And they fake both handoffs here. Ottinger keeps it himself, spins out of a tackle, bounces off another one. He's at the 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, and finally pushed out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. What a run there from the quarterback. That's number 9, Drew Ottinger.
Yeah, nice job there by Ottinger. Again, just kind of feeding himself. He misdirects and then fights his way down the sideline, make sure that he tight ropes it, and picks up this huge gain and almost to the goal line.
Lewiston looking to officially end this game here. If they're able to score here, that's going to be pretty much an insurmountable lead at this point. They hand it off to Shaw up the middle, who dives forward, stretches out for the goal line, not able to get there. He's marked down at the 1-yard line, but good effort there from Ethan Shaw.
Yeah, we've seen them probe the bottom of the screen. They've probed to the top of the screen. Again, they hit Shaw up the middle and almost to the goal line.
2nd and goal, ball on the 1. And they hand it up the middle to Shaw once again, and Shaw punches it home. Touchdown Bengals. They put the exclamation point on this one.
Well, and that's what Coach Pancary's crew is going to want. The fact that you were able to come out and you were able to dominate. You were able to, again, we mentioned how important the offensive and defensive lines were, and just on cue, they're able to just push their way down the line, down the field, and score this touchdown late in the game. And again, like you said, make it insurmountable for Capital. Up by 30 now. How about that? 2 in a row.
2 PATs for Lewiston in a row on the kick there from number 21, Jackson Latham. And they now have the lead 52-21. And Jason, we never like to close the door officially, but this might be an insurmountable one for Capital, so we start looking forward to next week.
Well, and that's one of those where a Capital probably needs to stick to who they are. Coach Bonner knows his guys better than I do, obviously, but it's one of those where I probably would say, okay, let's get the ball back. Let's be efficient with the ball. Let's get a touchdown before the end of the game. It does two things. One, should give you some more offensive identity, and two, it keeps the ball away from Lewiston, who might score 3 or 4 more times if you keep giving it back to them. And so at the same time, you got to stick to who you are. If you're not normally a let's air it out team, you probably want to stick with that. Or if you do have some end of gamers that you want to work on, what the heck? Let's use them right up here in Lewiston and see what goes on. This is a non-league game, so if you want to throw in some trickeration or something, unfortunately now everything's on film, and so it would mean that all of your opponents would see any kind of oddball formations that you have. And again, Lewiston coming out being dominant. You might see a couple of young guys get put in there for some different things. We've seen some dominant performances by the D-line. Maybe some time to inject some youth in there to see what they can do. And Coach Bancarri's just got to be super excited about how that Lewiston's played tonight.
5:31 to go here as Lewiston set to kick this one off once again. And this one is from number 49, Kyson Barton, who sends it deep. And it's going to bounce out of bounds. And so Capital's going to get some good field position here. And there's a flag thrown by number...
Well, now you're combining a couple of mistakes. So you have the ball go out of bounds, which should put it at the 35, and then you're going to add a personal foul on top of that. And so now what was kind of a feel-good situation now becomes kind of a head-scratcher where you're going to be pushed out near the 50-yard line.
And that was number 23, Taylor Hendren, who a little extracurricular activity after that play. And now it's going to be a 15-yard penalty for the in favor of the Eagles. So they march out towards midfield.
Well, and at the same time, you have some young guys who are getting out there a little bit, and guys just want to get out there and respond. So you can't completely sandbag on the guy, but definitely one of those where you hate to make 2 mistakes in the same play.
It's going to be 1st and 10, ball on the 40 after the penalty. And Capital hoping to salvage this game here by putting together some good drives against a quality opponent in Lewiston. Bayandambo goes in motion across the screen there, and he keeps it, and he picks up maybe 3 yards on the play. So Capital really liking that sweep play there.
Yep, and much better job by Lewiston this time of getting it corralled and getting it pushed out, which we have seen it go for big gains like you just mentioned. This time, even though they do have some younger guys out there, we don't see Storm out there, we don't see Avila out there, which is a good thing, so that way you're getting some young guys out there. Now you're getting them pushed out, so Capital's still going with their big beef, but they're getting efficient with their younger guys.
Their big beef, I like it. 2nd and 8, ball on the 48. 4:45 to go and counting. Peterson running for his life here. He's brought down from behind. He didn't see the defender coming. That was number 31, Asa McClure.
Well, the cool thing about that is, again, Lewiston's kind of subbed some guys in there, so McClure makes a big play saying, hey, coach, you need somebody on something. I'm ready to go. I just had a big tackle on a Friday night.
3rd and 11.
A sack, no less. Come on, give him the points. I want to be player of the game. I'm 1 for 1 on sacks right here.
There you go.
Put me in for 4 times, see what happens.
3rd and 11 after the sack. 4 minutes to go and counting. 3 receivers in the set for Capital. Peterson back to pass. He's going to throw this one deep, and the officials the closest one to it. Maybe some miscommunication on the routes the receivers were running on that one.
Yeah, and Peterson's a little frustrated, whether it be with his offensive line, because he did get a little bit of a shot, or the receiver who wasn't really on the same page. Either way, he's thinking, come on, guys, we got to get better than this. And the Lewiston guys were thinking, hey, that could be an interception. So they had 4 or 5 guys hightailing it over there trying to get a touch.
And so now 4th and 11, and the Eagles are just going to punt this one away. The punter with his feet right on that 35-yard line marker. And back deep to receive on the opposite 20 is Braden Rice. And here's the kick. End over end. And it's going to bounce inside the 20. Good job by Braden Rice stopping the ball from going any deeper. He's trying to get to the outside, but good containment from the Eagles. And he's going to be brought down in a gang tackle inside the 15.
And there is some couple of flags on the play, but I do like the idea the Capital is nowhere near giving up on this thing. They're racing down there trying to make a tackle. They don't want Rice to make a highlight and become the player of the game, and so they're out there making some plays as well.
So we'll see what the call is as the officials sort this one out. Some extracurriculars, if you were. Just both teams are passionate about this, and tempers can flare, especially when the game hasn't necessarily gone your way.
Looks like maybe, looks like they might both against Lewiston. And so that would push him back from where the ball was initially spotted.
First and 10, ball on the 7 after the penalties have been assessed on Lewiston. And, you know, that's one thing I think Coach Pancari may want to straighten out a little bit or iron out next week is there seems to be an abundance of penalties on the Lewiston side, and it hasn't mattered just because they played so well offensively.
Yeah, and some of them are effort plays, guys trying to do a little bit too much. Other times it's just kind of a traditional bonehead.
So this is Rylan, number 14. That's Rylan Gomez on the sweep there, and we've called his name a couple of times here. He's had a big first down run earlier in the game, and now he's getting involved in the regular rotation here.
Well, and that's, again, a good sign because that way you're keeping guys fresh. We have James White standing over here next to Coach on the sideline thinking, well, if you need somebody, I'm ready. But at the same time, you got to keep those legs fresh for down the road.
2nd and 2 here. And speaking of down the road for Lewiston, as they're starting to let the clock run down, which is, you know, surprising for Lewiston, they've got Clarkston next week, a big matchup.
The Battle of the Bridges. They were just announcing that the tickets go on sale tomorrow, I think, at noon. So it's a highly sought-after ticket here where the two towns who make up the LC Valley, Lewiston and Clarkston, are going to be playing. Lewiston's a little bit of the bigger brother, Clarkston the little brother, and it's going to be an important game down here in the old Battle of the Palouse.
For those of you not around District 2 up here, you know, typically Clarkston is the basketball school and Lewiston is the football school, and they just seem to interchange just like that. You know, Lewiston has a pretty good streak going at the Battle of the Bridges for football side of things. So they're looking forward to that next week. Then they take on Pendleton out of Oregon as a nice spin move there from number 16. That was Noah Carpenter.
And how about Lewiston's schedule? Take on Utah, Layton out of Utah, take on Clarkston out of Washington, and then you take on Pendleton out of Oregon. You're kind of trying to be the Northwest champion.
That's
Come
right.
on, Montana, bring somebody over. They're ready to play.
That's right. And then it shifts to Sandpoint. Now, Sandpoint and Lewiston had a great game last year where it went into overtime, and Sandpoint was able to come out on top by 1 or 2 points. An epic ball game. So they take them on after Pendleton. And they've got Moscow. We'll be in Moscow for that one. And then it's their 3 conference opponents: Post Falls, Lake City, and Coeur d'Alene. And that's going to decide who takes the Inland Empire.
And 2 of the 3 of them are right here on this field, right? I mean, the last 2 or the last
2. Yep.
The last
Lake
2.
City and Coeur d'Alene.
You couldn't ask for a better schedule than that. So Coach Pancari's got his guys not only ready for tonight, but it's set up for them down the road. And so he's got to be super excited about what he sees in front of us as well as what he's going to see in the future.
Yep, so I've got last season's schedule right in front of me here with Lewiston. That Sandpoint game last year was 42-41 in overtime.
Yeah.
Unbelievable game. And then Lewiston finished last year 11-2. So this is an excellent team coming into this season. They did lose a couple of key pieces such as Jace McArcher and Cruz Hepburn, but tonight Coach Pancari's got to be happy with what he's seeing.
Yeah, you hate to say to those guys the shelf is still stocked, but it looks like he's been able to develop some guys at the younger level, and they're ready to go. And that's, again, we've talked about how Coach Pancari's been here for a number of years, and that's what it takes, especially where you have 2 junior highs and you have to feed them into your high school, and you got to get those guys ready to go. And so it's just really starting to take shape for him, and he can't be happier.
So it's 4th and 1, and Lewiston's just going to go ahead and punt this one away. And folks, as we take a look at our Friday night flash here, you see our game here in the 5A. It's updated 52-21. Good job by the guys watching at home. Coeur d'Alene and Sandpoint, final. Coeur d'Alene wins 27-15. So that sounds like a hard-fought game here up north.
Yeah, and you would expect that. Those are great teams. They're perennial playoff teams, and it really bodes well for what Lewiston's hoping to do once they start taking on those same opponents.
Now let's look elsewhere. Lewiston's next opponent, Clarkston, defeats Moscow 27-0.
Well, Moscow wasn't able to get it going, but they did do a better job on defense, sounds like. And so hopefully Coach Bafus can get that offense kind of corralled and corrected.
Not dealing with those stinking Luna brothers.
That's right.
Elsewhere, I'm scrolling, taking a look at the Friday Night Flash on IdahoSports.com. So for those of you at home who want to take a look, hey, Kellogg, the team we covered last week against Moscow, they take down Newport, Washington 50-0. So Kellogg's just rolling right along.
And there it is again, McClure, number 31, saying, come on, guys, don't forget about me. They just sneaks out here and makes a couple of big old sacks. This one, not just a drop for 1 or 2 yards. This one was like a 10-yard sack, and he sneaks his way out here and makes a big play. Sorry, Garrison.
Nope, all good. That's pretty much all I've got from the Friday Night Flash. But again, you can find your games or stuff, your updates on scores, pictures, you name it. Look on IdahoSports.com and check that out. So Capital's just going to run this one out, and that should do it as they unpile here. And Lewiston, they're going to get their first win of the season tonight and be 1-1 on the season as they prepare for the Battle of the Bridges next week. And Capital, they're still soul searching over there. They were able to figure some things out offensively, better than the 6 points they had in the previous 2 games. Albeit against a pretty quality opponent in Lewiston.
That's right. Lewiston showed that they are really starting to figure some things out, and so Capital's got to take it with a grain of salt. But you're right. It takes time. It takes time to dedicate yourself to the process, like Coach Bonner is going to do, and probably a quiet bus ride home all the way back down to Boise, and they'll be heading off to take on their next opponent as well.
That's right. And folks, before we call it a night, we're going to take a quick, short break here. Jason and I got something to discuss, and then we'll be right back after this short message here on IdahoSports.com.
It can be a lot, trying to figure out how to make it, how to dream big, and to wonder, what if? Because no matter where you are in life, if you don't know what's possible in Idaho, it's hard to keep asking, what if? Which is exactly why Next Steps Idaho was created, with everything from smart tools that help you figure out careers you might be suited for, to training and education options for you. So keep asking what if at nextsteps.idaho.gov.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Lewiston, Idaho. The Lewiston Bengals just finished dispatching the Capital Eagles by a score of 52-21 to wrap things up here in Lewiston, Idaho. But Jason and I were discussing the IdahoSports.com player of the game, and Jason, we came
Are we just dead? Is it still there?
Yeah, it looks like we're still there. Sorry about that, folks. We had a bit of an audio. We're just trying to keep you guys waiting at home for the IdahoSports.com player of the game. So, if you're still with us, Jason, who was the guy we decided as our player of the game here on IdahoSports.com?
Well, I think I got outvoted because I was thinking somewhere along the lines of James White. We had McClure come in here. He got to play in a couple of plays, and he gets a couple sacks. We have Robert Storm. We have Avila, the defensive line. We have some offensive line guys going, hey, come on, what about us? You don't even mention us. But without a doubt, it was Shaw. The blast up the middle, some defensive plays as well. Shaw is going to be the player of the game, and a little bit of everything. And Coach Pancari can't be happier by the way his guys were playing, offense, defense, special teams. Obviously, you have things to correct. You have some penalties to correct. You have the return for a touchdown. But if you can keep building like what you're doing with Shaw and what was going on there, you're going to be in the thick of it. So Shaw is our player of the game.
Congratulations to number 6, Ethan Shaw of the Lewiston Bengals, for taking home our IdahoSports.com player of the game. Punched it into the end zone numerous times and had, probably well over 100 yards rushing. Just a very consistent and effective player tonight. So, and congratulations to the Lewiston Bengals picking up their first win of the season. Well, folks, that's going to do it for Jason Hanson and I in the booth. I'm Garrison Hardy. Thanks for tuning into this IdahoSports.com broadcast here from Lewiston, Idaho. Again, our final score, the Lewiston Bengals 52, the Capital Eagles 21. Until next time, so long, folks.
This has been a presentation of IdahoSports.com GameStreams. This broadcast is copyrighted to IdahoSports.com. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of